But yeah.
Oh,
what you
we're
saying
live.
about tag team titles?
No, so we were talking about like basically on like why the conversation started with what are we doing or what is the WWE doing with Austin Theory? Why haven't they turned him babyface yet? And my thought process was, well, they don't really have anything for him. And right now on an individual like run, and then they're short on heels, and Triple H really hasn't figured out what to do with the tag team division. And Triple H is very faction centered when it comes to his booking. That's how you produce stars, which is a good thing, but they have so many right now. And I think the easiest way to validate a faction and the easiest belts to put on a faction are the tag team titles. Yeah. So when you have those titles constantly wrapped up in the main faction that you're featuring, the Judgment Day or, the Bloodline, you can't really build the tag team division that well. And they haven't figured out storylines yet to really get that kind of going. And I don't know what and then like the women's tag team division, I just feel like I still don't even know who the SmackDown division tag title, it's like they just appeared out of nowhere. And I'm like, wait, who are they? Wait, what? They beat Jade Cargill and wait, what? And it just something he hasn't figured that out yet, the whole tag team division thing. That's the thing and right now they're really short on heels. And I'm not sure. That's why I think Orton's going to flip to heel at some point. And I think KO will. I mean, the writing's on the wall with the KO thing. But I think Orton's going to flip heel at some point too. Because they also don't have like a heel machine for Cody. What heels right now besides the Bloodline are you going to put Cody against right now? Like they're resorting to. They don't have anything. That's the one problem that they're running into with Cody. As much as I love Cody and how over he is, the complaints that I see online are, his storyline, his booking's boring. And I'm like, I disagree with that. But I think if they don't turn out some heels right now, some top tier heels, his booking could get boring really quick unless he's just constantly involved in the Bloodline stuff. But from what it sounds like, they're going to go in a completely different direction. I don't know how they're going to do this, but did you guys see the like WrestleMania 41 leaked what they're going to possibly do?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
So it's going to be Cody, Rock, and then Roman solo, I think. And which I'm kind of curious how they're going to do that, because you're going to take Rock and Cody into a completely separate angle and just have him not look at the whole Bloodline thing over here.
Well, if they're gonna do that, they're gonna have to reveal at some point Rock's the one pulling the strings. So all this is gonna have to tie together in some way, shape, or form. I think Rock's gonna, how Solo was doing all that. I was doing it for the Tribal Chief and all that other stuff. It's gonna come out as being Rock at some point. They're gonna tie all this together again at some point. Is what I think is gonna happen.
You would think that, and I kind of feel that way too. I always thought that was the route that they were going to go, was The Rock is going to be the one. Yeah, exactly. The one pulling the strings, the whole time. I was just surprised that the Solo thing, he went from that to now I'm the Tribal Chief and actually accepting that role. So that's where that part threw a monkey wrench in there, to me at least. Yeah. But
I don't mind it just from the standpoint, like, if you're gonna Roman Reigns is going to need somebody, like, even if they're not on his level, just somebody believable enough at a WrestleMania stage to take him down. I just hope, if they're going to go that route with Solo, eventually Solo got to start running through people.
Yeah, he have to, because the thing
he can't keep doing this win loss. He got to start running through people.
No, I mean, put him in some Goldberg type matches or something, because y'all ain't really dropping the ball on that, because when you can't win or like even small matches, your luster as a heel loses itself. I mean, we've seen many heels lose their luster after a while. And it's just like you're no longer a heel, you're no longer a babyface, you're somewhere right in the middle. And if that starts happening, then you pretty much SOL at a certain point as a WWE superstar or wrestling superstar, period.
Well, Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt in general, the way he was booked like really early, it ruined his character for years. The way he was booked against Cena and everything else, it's just astonishing.
I'm sorry. WrestleMania 30, he should have hung Cena's head on a wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. In fact, as much as I agree, like, and I just dropped the first part of the Undertaker Brock Lesnar thing on my TikTok channel. So whoever's tuning in tonight, check that out. I'll upload part 2 tonight. But the Suplex City that Cena went through, that should have happened or something similar with Bray Wyatt. Yeah. Doing that to Cena to make him a legit threat. Like, that should have been a thing. And the problem with Solo right now is that, like, I thought it was way too early to put him against Cody because you knew Cody wasn't going to drop the belt. Yeah. So the other problem is that this is there were rumors of this that they didn't want to bring up Jacob Fatu because he was going to overshadow Solo, and he has.
But if you follow Jacob Fatu like in MLW and everywhere he's been, you knew that was going to happen.
I know, but I think the way Solo was booked makes it look like it looks really like, because now they're booking farther out for Jacob Fatu versus Roman. Like, they're keeping those two apart for the most part. Like, there was a little interaction there when last on SmackDown, but like not this past week, but the week before. But yeah, I
would rather if it was me doing the booking, at some point Jacob needs to snap like Solo did and beat the daylights out of him and just have Solo gravitate back to Roman, man. That's what I would do.
Wait,
I would have Jacob Fatu just beat the daylights out of Solo at some point. And I would have Solo gravitate back, because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Because everybody's like going like, okay, Survivor Series, all right, when War Games come around, it's gonna be like Roman, you're gonna bring Jay and Jimmy back. I don't know. Yes, but I feel like what they should do, I would like the way they're building up Jacob Fatu now. Eventually, I would have him turn on Solo. Have him beat Solo, have him kick him out the bloodline. You got Jacob Fatu, you got God, and then you still got Hikuleo, who's signed, who I would just go ahead and bring in. So you pretty much got the trio of brothers with Fatu. And then you got Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Solo. OG Bloodline versus 2.0. I would go that route. But my thing is just the booking is just so like,
This was my argument on why bringing Roman back so quickly isn't a good idea.
Yeah,
because you needed to establish this new bloodline as a force, and every time they come out, don't get me wrong, like when Jacob Fatu's out there, they look legit, but he's the only one that really looks legit. Like when they come out there and Solo comes out there with his little racing gloves and he grabs a mic, I just want to laugh at him because I'm just like, dude, I can't take you seriously. And so this is why I felt that they should have booked Roman. Like the way I would have done it is I would have booked the new bloodline, and then I would have basically taken out all the old bloodline members one by one. So they took out Jimmy, then you take out Sammy after his feud with, he lost the title. In fact, you could have even factored that in where it doesn't make Sammy look bad, and they cost him the title. So they just take out all the bloodline members one by one, and then you bring back Roman as at maybe not Survivor Series, but I mean, it's weird. We're already almost there.
You would have had to bring him back as Survivor Series.
Yeah, and then that's when you bring him back to save Cody.
Yeah.
Because then you book out the bloodline and you book out the new the new bloodline as a monster faction.
Yeah.
Where now it just looks like they're placeholders, which that's why it feels this weird. Like, it's weird if you look at both shows, SmackDown and Raw. Like, I look at the new Judgment Day way better than the old Judgment Day. Like, that feels like, what's up, Jonathan? That feels like an actual heel faction. Like that, like they're legit. And I don't know if it's just the heat that Liv and Dom are getting on their own, but they feel like they feel like a gang.
Speaking of heels, PSP has a question real quick. Who's the greatest heel of all time? I'd say Mr. McMahon. Real quick, who's the greatest heel? You know, I ain't got to stop like going.
It's him. See, it's Mr. McMahon by default, but I don't want to just go straight to him. I'm gonna go like an actual wrestler. And for me, the guy who I've watched who did the absolute greatest heel work in the history of the business was 2009 Randy Orton, and nobody's close. 2009 Randy Orton was just the dude was literally on demon time. I'm talking about like, and the only thing that makes me mad about that Randy Orton was how that WrestleMania 25 match with Triple H under-delivered in so many ways, because that was one of the greatest build-ups to a WrestleMania match I've ever seen. And for that match, the whole, if Triple H gets disqualified, he loses the WWE Championship, it killed the whole match for me. That should have been no holds barred and let them boys just do whatever they wanted to do with each other. That DQ rule just killed the match for me.
Yeah.
I think, are we going straight WWE? That's
It'll be wrestling period.
Oh, then to me it's the Dudleys, the ECW Dudleys.
Ooh, they were nasty. They were nasty.
They got like there were. I remember Bubba talking about how like they were like, I think they had guns pulled on them after shows and stuff like that. Like that's how.
Really?
Yeah. Like now, don't quote me on that, but like those like old school ECW Dudley boys. Those guys got chairs and shit thrown at them. Like they were, like, you think Dom gets heat? Like those guys literally almost started riots. Go back and look up what Bubba, when Bubba talks about old school ECW days. I'd say the Dudleys. That would be my non-WWE one.
Champ. Go. This is what I want you to do. Research ECW Heatwave Dudley Boys promo. You will have your mind blown.
Okay, I have to do that, man. Me personally, I'm going to go with what PSP said. Triple H Reign of Terror 2003.
That was going to be my.
That was good, man. I got to shout out to PSP, by the way, man. Check out the PSP podcast tomorrow. Up to 13,000, by the way. Congratulations, doing a hell of a job, killing the podcast industry. The next Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to PSP. So I would say heel Triple H, man, from 2002 all the way up to like 2005 when he finally lost to Batista at WrestleMania 21. That was and the stars that spit off outside of Evolution, you know, that gang warfare, you know, the sledgehammer, you know, that was Triple H at his best, if you really want me to be honest. Not to mention the feud with Shawn Michaels, the feud with, I'm just going to say it, man, the feud with Chris Benoit, you know, those were memorable feuds at
yeah,
man. So I got to go 2002 to 2005. That 3-year run of being a heel, that was crazy.
Well, shoot, if you want to go there with Triple H, you can go back to the late Attitude Era run with him as a heel. He basically put Chris Jericho on the map after he joined the WWE with that feud they had, that fully loaded last man standing match. If y'all haven't seen that, go watch it.
Yeah,
I'd say because that was going to be my WWE pick would be modern era, or like I'd say modern, like Attitude Era up would have been Triple H. Dude, like everybody hated Triple H. And then the other two, to me, the other two would have been like pre-Attitude Era, would have been Roddy Piper and Jake the Snake Roberts. So
I got an underrated one real quick before we move on. An underrated heel, PG era Chris Jericho. When he started wearing the suit and started saying all the big words, and he was talking in the monotone voice. That boy, he that was some of his best work right there. That Chris Jericho.
Hey, so I gotta look. I know this is off subject, man, but like I said, man, this is a podcast, man. This is not one of those monotone shows where we just gonna sit here and just talk to each other. I have to ask this because this game is going on right now, man. I have to ask this, and I'll go first on this one. Shout out to PSP again. Thoughts on Colorado at this point? Because, I told people this. North Dakota State University is a FCS powerhouse. They are constantly in the national championship picture. Because if you thought that they was just going to come in and just roll on them like D-Mob in Def Jam Vendetta, then you were sadly mistaken. So I want to know y'all's thoughts, because the thing is, I think that Colorado, hey, man, look, love Deion Sanders. Love what he's doing with the program. I love the things that he's doing. But at this level, it doesn't matter how many of the little things that you're doing, which I'm proud of, by the way. But at a certain point, you got to bring in some recruits and start winning football games. And you have to have a good recruiting class at a certain point, because you going out here in free agency, the transfer portal just snatching guys.
Is that a little bit of a Freudian slip right there?
You going into the transfer portal and just trying to snatch guys out of there and just put them on the field. That's not going to work at this level. You got to get out there and you have to recruit. And my thing is, look, I think that he's doing a lot of good things, man. Like, I think that the thing that he did with the Bank of Colorado and them setting those guys up for to succeed who has children, I think that was a good thing. I think that a lot of other good things happen as far as, him putting those guys in the best position in order to succeed out there. But on that field, I don't think that a lot of things are going according to plan. I really think that he needs to look more into recruiting the traditional way as well as the transfer portal. Because let's just be real. Who doesn't want to play for Coach Prime? Yeah, I'm not even playing. I'm just going to be real, man. I ain't played football since 2005, since I joined the Army. I would love to play for Coach Prime now. And the most part I ain't been on the field in years. So the thing is this. You have to use your name and you have to use who you are for yourself, because who doesn't want to go out there and play for Coach Prime, especially with you being backed up by Nike. But the thing is, you have to get out there and recruit some guys. You just can't depend on the transfer portal to get you everything you want to. That's my only problem with Coach Prime at this point in time. But, what says y'all, man? Flash, I saw you was
Well, I was just saying, I don't want to play for him. Why would I? Why? Just because he's Deion?
I mean, at least you got a pipeline to the pros, but now that's a given. You ain't got to.
But there's a lot of other colleges right now that they're all pipelined to the pros. These coaches, these big time coaches, they have relationships with NFL coaches and scouts and everything else. And this is the thing. I feel like if we were under the old school recruiting ways, so no NIL, I think Colorado's recruiting better because it is Deion and he can use his name. But, we were talking about it last week. Now you got all these donors at all these colleges, that now can just – and that's cute. Don't get me wrong. I love Deion. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I have an old school 49ers, 1994 49ers jersey. It's one of my favorite jerseys ever. But –
you would pick the 49ers jersey in order to well, but I digress. Go ahead. If I'm a 17-year-old kid right now and I'm one of the top recruits in the country and I go to Coach Prime and I go, okay, so this is just optics of why it looks. All right, so what is it that you offer me that SMU can't, or Colorado, or Alabama, or any SEC team or any Big Ten team for that matter? Besides the fact that you have, I can go to Oregon and get literally free Nike stuff all day long.
Facts.
So,
yeah.
what are you offering besides the fact that like right now, like you have your boys, you have your son and Travis Hunter and stuff like that, but what are you going to do to make me look good as a college football player? Right now, like I'm watching the game right now too, and Shedeur Sanders is still running for his life.
Yeah.
Like, so I look at it this way: it's like now with the transfer portal, now it's, and I think this is why Saban got out of it too. It's not enough anymore just to say, "Hey, I'm Nick Saban." It's not enough anymore now, kids. Because now if I'm some 17-year-old kid. If I'm some donor at SMU, I can be like, hey, I'm Joe Blow, billionaire guy. I can give you a ton of money, your family a ton of money, and you can come here and you can be the star. And then I also can pay the top head coach, and then I can pay this, and I can pay that. And almost every top tier school can do that. So, which is why right now Colorado, like, what separates them besides Deion's name?
You know what? And BRF, and you can relate to this, and I'm going to say this out loud. I really don't think he should have left Jackson State.
Nope. I agree, 100%.
I don't think he should have left Jackson State. I mean, I think it was a lot better for him down there, and I think that it was one of those things where he could have been coaching like hell and set the tone for a lot of other HBCUs for years to come. I think that he didn't. I think that this was a mistake.
I agree.
I think that he should have stayed at Jackson State, but not just for himself, but I think he should have stayed because he was the biggest name in SWAC for a long time, and for them to be on cop for the Southwestern Conference to be on college game day for a championship game. I hate the term do it for the culture, but that did it for the culture.
Oh.
And I loved it. I think he really should have stayed at Jackson State. Now, granted, that wouldn't have proven to the scouts that Shedeur could play, that Travis Hunter could play, or Shiloh could play. I know that probably
Travis Hunter's a first round. Travis Hunter's a first round draft pick, no matter where he goes.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with that, and I disagree with that. Like Shedeur maybe, but I also think he could have recruited a lot easier.
Yes, that's another thing. I think
you can argue, like, besides the fact that I'm Deion, you can argue I want to make this historically black college. I want to make this like a big like you're going to be a part of something. You're going to be a part of something. You're
like Andy Robinson with Grambling.
Yeah, like exactly. You're going to be a part of history. You're going to build something that we've never seen before. So, like, man,
he won a championship. He won a championship within his first 2 years of being there. Yeah. And I think it would have been a lot. He already had a rapport down there, and it would have been a lot easier than him starting over. But BRF, I'm interrupting you. My bad.
No, I was letting y'all finish. I just wanted to chime in on that. See, my thing is, I hear what you're saying, Champ, about, doing it. Hey, look, what he was doing with Jackson State and actually putting him on the map. Heck, I think they got a college game day Saturday at one point. I mean, them putting Jackson State on the map, I'm not mad at it, and I think he did great things for it. My only disagreement is, and I hear you doing it, I hear they're doing it for the culture thing, but you can only do it for so much, because if your school ain't backing you up with that, as far as like providing you with the resources to make your place better, what's the point of staying? So from that perspective, I don't blame him for leaving, because because I read the reports like they weren't really like the donors, like the Jackson State, the alumni and all this stuff. They weren't really, a lot of the money that was going into that university was coming out of his pocket, and the donors and everybody at that university wasn't necessarily matching that. So after a while, it's like, I don't blame him for leaving, because you gotta be, I mean, even still, if you want to elevate it, it can't just be him. It's got to be the alumni, the donors. It's got to be everybody associated with that university if they really wanted that program, that football program, to really take off and do something. So from that perspective, I don't blame him leaving. I think where the problem was the fact that he went to Colorado. I think it's because he went to Colorado. Now, granted, it's D1. It's the biggest stage, and you're getting TV time and TV games and all that other stuff. But I just feel like, for me, him going to Colorado was not going to be a 10, 15 year build something here. I still feel like ultimately Deion's goal in head coaching is Florida State. I still feel like that's his goal at the end of the day. That's his alma mater. I feel like that's still his goal at the end of the day, is to get there. It's just that it's kind of hurting him at Colorado with what they're doing, because he's relying, because what it is he's relying on his name, but it's also, like you said, him using the transfer portal a lot. I feel like he's really not doing a good enough job in the recruiting sense, in terms of using all of his personnel in the scouting department and actually going out and recruiting good players, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, particularly on the defensive line, because they have no pass rush to save their lives. They can't rush the passer. They can't stop the run. That's why you see teams like North Dakota State going to their house and hang with them. That's why you see teams like USC go in there and absolutely blow the doors off your stadium. And the only reason why you even come back and catch up and make it a game is because they have probably just as worse a defense as you. That's why I think with the whole situation was, I don't blame him for leaving Jackson State. I don't, because it's like I said, if your university ain't helping you at the same time, investing in that program to where you feel like it could be, if the university is not helping you, I don't blame you for leaving. I just feel like Colorado, if it's one thing, if there weren't opportunities, and maybe there weren't a lot of opportunities, but I just feel like if there were like multiples, he probably should have thought about it a little more before he went to Colorado, just to see what's out there. From that instance, I could see why he maybe could have stayed at Jackson State, but I just don't blame him for leaving Jackson State, because it's like I said, if they're not going to invest time with you to make their program better, why stay? That's kind of how I feel about it.
So yeah, and we saw a lot of evidence with Ed Reed when he left Bethune-Cookman as well. So yeah, so I get what you're saying.
I'm going to throw a little bit of it back a little bit when it comes to that. So he was only at Jackson State for what, 2 years, correct?
2, 3, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
let me look it up.
The school and the donors weren't really behind him yet. To me, like he hadn't earned it yet. Was the reason why he left? And we talk about nepotism a lot on this show a little bit, and we have recently. Was it to make sure his son and Travis Hunter got the best thing for him? Let's say he stays at Jackson State for like another 3 to 4 years. Like, then the money's going to start coming. At some point, it's going to. You would think, right?
But here's my thing with that though. It's Deion Sanders. That should have been coming in year 1. It's Deion Sanders.
Well, no, because he's had no track record of coaching. No, now after year 2.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but as soon as he won the SWAC, all the doubt should have stopped.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he won 11-2 his first year. The only reason why he didn't win his very first year, because that was the COVID year. People wasn't really sure about the COVID. But the thing is this: when you have a big name like a Deion Sanders, especially at a HBCU campus, I mean, at a HBCU campus, that's when you need to start getting behind some things. My thing is you saw the flaws in that when you saw Ed Reed say the same thing that Deion had said. That's when the problems start coming in. And my thing is, once you have a Deion Sanders, hey man, look, this is the time in order to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, this is the time in order to just put everything, just go all in and let them know, hey, we're behind you. The thing was, they thought that Deion did things here in Colorado he had got Michael Strahan in order to put his name, in order to buy suits for the kids so they can, travel on the road. He had a deal with a charter jet company so they can, be able to travel. He had a deal with a hotel company so they can cut the costs on the travel. There was a lot of things that he set in place. So the thing was, once you do everything that you can, okay, now I'm waiting for the cavalry to arrive.
Yeah.
What's up with it? Now I'm waiting on the cavalry to arrive. It's kind of like, let's put this in layman's terms. That's just like the three of us. We put together at $1 million show. We gross $1 million every year. But guess what? The network ain't no network putting their name behind us, even though we on their show. They ain't paying us right fees. They ain't paying us anything. And they wondering why we ain't signing on the dotted line. Hell, you ain't putting them behind us. You might as well just stay independent.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, all right, let's for example, let's just use a couple networks. Okay, let's just say for starters, we get picked up by ESPN. We're doing our thing for a little bit. We grossing, we getting viewers, we getting attention. I'm leaving. I'm like, hey, we going to Fox Sports because they'll at least give us a contract. They gonna put money behind us because if they're not doing, that's just kind of how I feel about it. So it's like, you go 11 into your first year, and then you mess around, come back and win the SWAC after that. I'm sorry. You gotta.
2 years in a row.
All right. I'm just saying, 2 years ish. Like I'm kind of like, all right. So then what was the issue? Why weren't they back?
I could not tell you because who the hell is Jackson State before he got there? What was Jackson State before he got there?
Back up now, because the thing is, Jackson State, they put the best running back of all time in the league.
Well, that's what I just said. Like they haven't been relevant since Walter Payton.
And Robert Brazile came from there as well back in the 70s. He played for the
So they have that. That's it. As great as that is, it's what have you done for me lately? That's it. That's it. So I mean, he made you relevant again. So I get the whole he hasn't earned it yet, but the minute he won the SWAC, shut up and start ponying that money. Because he wanted to be there. He wanted to elevate the program. You see, this man is a winner there. That man is doing nothing but winning for you, and he wins your conference for you. Where you at? You got he's doing their part. Now you got to come in and do your part. Because if you're not gonna come in and do your part, why am I gonna stay? I'm not gonna keep busting my tail as a coach with these players winning all these games, and then you ain't gonna help us with our equipment, practice facilities, all that stuff. I can't elevate it without you. Why should I stay?
That's a good point. We're gonna stick to football here. Let me ask y'all this, man. I have to ask y'all this, man. Look, college football week 0 was very, very exciting, man. So I gotta ask y'all this, man. Look, I'll start with you, BRF.
Okay.
What is y'all's thoughts on Georgia Tech, the stepchild of Georgia, upsetting Florida State? That was by far one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
I never, ever, ever, ever want to hear them complain about the bowl game ever again. I never want to hear it again. I never want to hear it again. You had a built-in excuse for that game against Georgia last year because a lot of your players sat or they didn't play, preparing for the draft and all that stuff, and they were mad because they didn't get in the college football playoff. I get that. You had a little built-in excuse. Well, forgetting the fact that Georgia played second and third string players and was still giving y'all that work. But that's beside the point. The fact that you went in full strength against Georgia Tech and let them do you up like that. I don't want to hear nothing else about that ever. I don't want to hear nothing else about that. Okay, you weren't full strength against Georgia. You were full strength against Georgia Tech, and you still let them give you the business. I don't want to hear nothing else from Florida State about that. I don't. I do not. And honestly, I'm happy for Georgia Tech too, because in my opinion, I think they're one of the more improved programs coming into 2024 in the first place. So do not be surprised don't be surprised if Georgia Tech is like an 8-9 win team this year. Just do not be shocked. They're on the come up. Haynes King, QB, he legit. He's pretty good. Don't be surprised if Georgia Tech beat some people they ain't got no business beating this year because they are on the come up as a program and as a university. Don't be surprised if we're talking about Georgia Tech as a 9-win team this year. Just don't be shocked. I am really enjoying what they're doing. Their recruiting is better. It's like the players that they got there at that program is like they're enjoying being there for the first time. And the players at Georgia Tech are actually enjoying being there and having fun. And I'm happy for that. And I'm happy for that program. I think they can reel off 8-9 wins this year, get to a decent bowl game this year. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me at all. And it's like I said, Florida State, shut up about last year. I don't want to hear it. You came into this team. You came into the beginning of the season fully healthy against, regardless of how improved Georgia Tech is. That's a team you're supposed to beat. And then they beat you full strength. Don't talk about last year anymore. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm officially done with it. I don't want to hear it no more. So my thoughts are really as simple as that. I do not want to hear Florida State complain about anything else.
Flash.
We're in what, year 3 of the NIL?
Yeah.
I think, give or take, yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised, but not completely. This is going to be a more consistent thing going forward, I think, with the NIL. And the longer the NIL goes, I think the typical powerhouses, I think we're going to see more random upsets like this. You all right over there?
Yeah, I just hit my computer about that. I was reaching to try to move the damn mouse, but
I think we're going to see this more often. I think with the transfer portal and kids like throwing, they're ping pong balls now. I think we're going to see a little bit more inconsistency. So the big time, the Alabama, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, even the Georgias, but the LSUs, I think we're going to see more problems like this. So I totally agree. Last year is last year. Like, hush up. We don't care about last year anymore. It's done and gone already. You can argue all you want, but it's over and done with. I could still like cry about why Bill Belichick sat Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. Nothing I can do about it. It still makes me want to cry on the inside, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not completely surprised. And I think the things that I don't like about the NIL, I think there are things that I might like where I think this may even the playing field a little bit. Like I don't think as the years go on now, we're going to see the typical powerhouses where it's just basically the same, like 4 to 6 teams that are basically in the hunt. And lately, for over the last probably 10 years, it's basically been Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. That's it. It's gotten a little boring.
With some Oklahoma, LSU, and Notre Dame mixed in there at some point.
Yeah, but Notre Dame hasn't been really. I mean, even the one time they got into a national title game against Alabama, they were literally children playing against men.
Hey, I remember that year. I said it myself. It didn't matter because I said to myself, the real national championship game that year was the SEC title game between Bama and Georgia. We all knew whoever won that game was going to destroy Notre Dame in that title game. Everybody knew that one.
Yeah. So it's been the same. And then you throw in like a random Michigan year or whatever, that happens or whatever. But
the finally parade.
Yeah, like that. But for the most part, we've had the same 4-ish teams for the past decade or so. So I think Georgia's going to be Georgia for another year or so, and maybe another couple of years. But I think that's going to start to slowly fade. Not they're going to be bad. No offense, guys, but I just think we're going to see,
changing of the guard gradually.
Yeah, it's a slow changing of the guard, and as a Wisconsin guy, the one thing that I've always wanted to do is win, and they haven't won a national title since 48. So I want a national title. So, hey, you Madison donors, get out there, go do something. I want to see it. And so this kind of, as much as I love college football, I think this might actually, that part of the NIL, as much as a lot of the tradition is going away, this might shake things up a little where it'd be a little bit more interesting. I think this is a portent of things to come with Florida State losing.
I think, but I do think though this is what I do think though. One quick thought.
Yeah.
If I think where the parity can really kick in, these upsets have to happen before the parity really kicks in, because then these players see more opportunities at all these different schools beating some of these powerhouses. Yep. That's where I think I don't think if these powerhouses are just beating everybody, I don't think the parity is going to kick in like that. This is where I think we got to see the upsets. I think they have to happen for the parity to really kick in and truly open up opportunities.
Oh, we will. It's not going to be a lot right away, but it's going to be a slow, gradual thing. We're all of a sudden like, wait, Alabama lost to who? Or, Florida State lost to Georgia. Now, don't be wrong. This isn't like the first time that Florida State's lost to Georgia Tech. Like, this isn't
no.
Something like this. I don't think it's like, I think it's an upset, but I don't think it's like a huge upset.
It's not monumental by any stretch.
No. This isn't like Appalachian State versus Michigan.
I was just about to ask that. Great minds think alike. So you don't think it's to that magnitude where you don't think it's to that magnitude at this point?
No.
This ain't Texas A&M Johnny Manziel going into Tuscaloosa beating Alabama. This ain't that.
Yeah. Like we're at this state, like Florida State. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that what they were last year, but there were questions even last year with Florida State, and then going into this year, there were even more questions with them. So it's like, and again, we're in year 3-ish of the NIL, and so that stuff's going to start to play a factor. So I don't think it was. I think it was an upset, but I don't think when I found out, because I didn't get to watch the game. When I found out, I didn't go like, oh my God. Like I didn't like freak out. Like it wasn't something like I was like, okay, all right. Like
I laughed because I remember like the college because college game day was there in Dublin, and Flash, our boy Seamus was a picker on college game day. He was the only one. He was the only one to pick tech.
He did. Can I have a random not completely off topic question? But why was Sheamus carrying around the heavyweight title belt?
Probably a marketing thing. Would it be in WWE? It's probably a marketing thing.
I know, but it was weird. Like you don't have just a rank. Like you have the champ do that. Like Liv Morgan's taking that belt everywhere.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, but that is really Dublin. Weird. That's his home. I think that's his home. So. I think that's why.
Dublin's home for him. So I could trust me. I understand where you're coming from, but I can understand why they do that.
It was just weird for me. I'm like, wait a minute, why does he have the title? Why is he carrying it around like he's the champ? He ain't the champ. It was a really weird, that's a weird decision for Triple H to make. Like, completely off topic, sort of. It was just a weird thing that I caught when I was watching him on College Game Day. I'm like, why is he with the title? Anywho,
just as long as we get that Gunther Sheamus rematch at some point before the end of the year, will make my heart whole
for the title. Yeah.
Hey, so real quick, man, I have to say this. I thought that was a huge upset, man, and but I will say this, man. Look, Georgia Tech fans, don't start talking smack, dog. I'm just gonna be real.
Oh, you got to give it to him a little bit.
In the great words of Snoop Dogg. Use a flea, and I'm the big dog. So don't start talking smack, Georgia Tech fans, because I saw y'all in the comments on TikTok talking all type of smack. We're coming for y'all. Yeah,
don't be like the Kentucky Wildcats on Georgia week. Don't do it.
I don't know, guys. I'm saying and again, I know you're my boys, but I think this Georgia run. I think we're gonna see some. It ain't.
I mean, look, I'm gonna just be real. I enjoyed it because the thing is this. I have to be honest with you. The only thing that we were asking for as a state and fans, we asked for one title. We wasn't really asking for what we got right now. We just wanted one title. So now that you are in transition in order to make two, and you have a chance in order to win again with what you did to transfer portal and things like that, I mean, to potentially become a dynasty this year, that will be all that we want for years to come. Now, I don't ever think that we would ever be continued. Georgia was always been in contention, but because of BCS rules and things of that, it's always. I don't think we've lost a hell of a lot of games except for Kirby Smart's second year. And even before that, even with Mark Richt, we wasn't losing a lot of games. We were still winning SEC championships and everything. So with this 12-team playoffs, I can see us going to the playoffs for a lot of years to come. But as far as being powerhouses, I think that what goes up must come down. So we're going to have to, ante it up when it comes to the NIL and stuff like that. But I don't think it's really going to lose too much.
But I think that hinges. But I think it hinges on Kirby Smart too, because my thing is Kirby Smart. I think with Alabama and Kirby Smart with that, even though it's Nick Saban, I don't think Kirby Smart gets enough credit for how good of a recruiter he is. And I think that's the main thing with me. I think the run of Georgia just hinges on what Kirby Smart does. I feel like because he just strikes me as the type of coach that just maintains his hunger and his passion for the game no matter what he does. So I feel like just as long as he is operating at the level that he's operating at, will there be parity in college football? Yes, but I don't see Georgia really going anywhere because as long as the bigger universities are still throwing out the money that they're throwing out anyway, they're always going to be around anyway. So there might, you might have an upset here or there, or a big upset like in the playoffs here and there. But I still feel like ultimately a team like Georgia, a team like Bama, for me, I don't consider Georgia a blue blood of college football, but they are right now one of the perennial powerhouses. So, like I said, I personally don't.
Damn.
I see where you're coming from, but I don't think they're really going away.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
No. The thing is, one thing that you said, Champ, because I know me and you are reacting to the same thing. By the way, great late push off by Hunter.
That's that Michael Irvin. I'm not knocking him.
I'm not knocking him. I'm not. Between Michael Irvin and Randy Moss, they were the masters at it.
Yeah.
The late short. Now that was a little bit of that was an arm extension one, so he's got to tighten that up a little bit. But technically that should have been a flag. That should have been a big flag. But I'm not upset about push offs. But you got to clean it up. You got to make it a short push off, not a long push off. You can't extend the arm. Anywho, but to your point, when you're like you just wanted one title.
Yeah.
As a longtime Patriots fan, it's never just one title. Because once you get one, then you want more. And you get greedy. You get greedy.
Look. The curse was on us. I don't know about BRL, but I was under the mindset that, look, man, the curse is real. It was, ever since 95, we hadn't had anything. It's just like we went to the Super Bowl, we lost. Went back to the World Series, lost.
I get it.
Went to the national championship against Alabama, even before we won the national championship. Beat Oklahoma, who was the highest powered offense. We lost. So a long time, it was like, damn, are we cursed? Is 95 the only thing we're going to have? Even with the Atlanta Thrashers, I don't know if you remember the Thrashers when they was down here. It was like, damn, the Thrashers make it to the conference. We lost. So it's like, for a long time, it was like, damn, this is a curse. This is a curse.
And then,
but the thing is, it's like after a while, it's like, damn, is it really a curse? So once you break that curse, it's kind of like the Red Sox. Once you break that curse, it's like, okay.
If it happens again, great.
If it happens again, great. But I will never forget this one. And then for you to come back and get two, it's like, damn.
I get
it. Back. And then you go into a three-peat type of a year. Now you're able to become a dynasty. It's like, okay, let's do some things. But, I will never forget these two back-to-back years. I'll never forget the first time. Even though we lost the national championship against Alabama that first time, I was happy for us to get there and just go toe-to-toe. It was like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And in my humble opinion, people can talk about the 05 national championship with Texas and USC, but I will put that Oklahoma game versus Georgia. I put that right up there with it.
I can see where you would feel cursed, especially after 28-3. Like I would feel cursed too.
Yeah. And plus people don't realize, man, we was up 20-3 during that game. We was up 20-3 during that game.
I know.
As far as so
don't even talk to me about Georgia and blown games, man. Do not talk to me about Georgia and blown games, because we went through like a whole stretch. It wasn't just 28-3. Like you said, it was 20-3 Georgia against Alabama. It was the Atlanta Braves in 2020 having a 3-1 lead in the NLCS and losing to the Dodgers. I'm talking about we went through like a whole stretch of that stuff.
Yeah, it was a real. And you was beginning to ask yourself, like, damn, are we really cursed? Like, what did we? And you're trying to, and in my mind, I was trying to trace it back. You know what I'm saying? In a certain way, like, damn, did it start when we traded Brett Favre? Damn, did it start with Steve Bartkowski? Damn, did it start when we traded? Damn, did it start when we didn't pay David Justice? Damn, what did it? You start going back, and so for us to even be relevant at this point. It's just like, okay, I'm happy to be relevant.
Look, we as I'm from Wisconsin, and now don't get me wrong, I'm lucky enough where my whole sports life, from when I was a little kid, basically the Packers have been pretty good. Yeah. I was around for 88 and 89. 88 was their last really crappy year, and then 89 was the 10-6 year with Don Majkowski and Sterling Sharp and Tim Harris. Replay game. Yeah. So, and then, then they had another like 2 down years, and then Favre took over in 92. But that first title in 96, though, like that means more to me than the 2010 title, because of one, it's your first championship as a kid, but I mean, they didn't win a title for 30 years.
Yeah.
And they were, all I heard growing up was, man, they were under Vince. They were blah, 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 blah. And you just don't see that. This most recent Milwaukee Bucks title, they hadn't had a championship since 71. And then I remember when they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals in 01, I'm like, man, that's the closest we're ever going to get. And the NBA completely rigged us out of that. And that's never going to happen again. So I get it. The 04 Red Sox title. The Red Sox can win a ton more titles. That 04 one will always mean more than anybody that was born. That 04 title, that was an amazing. Just the fact that, besides the fact they came back 3-0 from the Yankees, which is awesome. But that title.
Poetic justice.
It just will. So I get it. I get what you're saying. Like where that title. It's like watching Cubs fans. I hate the Cubs, but when they won the title, watching all the old Cubs fans start crying. Like there was compilations of like Cubs fans, like older guys, like older than me, like in their 50s and stuff like that, in their 60s, and guys in their 70s and 80s, like just start crying because they never thought they would see this. So I get that, like, and that was one thing like that. Even though I hate the Cubs, like I can't hate on that, like, because that was kind of cool. Anywho, but yeah, sorry.
Both architectures of the great deal.
Yep. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Both architects of the great deal. Real quick.
You echoing, champ?
Huh?
You were echoing a little bit.
I am. I'm still echoing.
A little bit.
Hold on.
Okay, I think you might have it fixed now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Next segment. Look, I gotta ask this question, man. Real quick segment. What's the greatest college football matchup of week 1, man? Gotta ask this question. BRF?
I mean, if you're going by the rankings, I mean, it's still Georgia Clemson. If still Georgia Clemson. If you want to, the closest one to me is probably Notre Dame and A&M. But for me, I think it's Georgia. I think it's Georgia Clemson.
All right.
Yeah. I mean,
Because there aren't really a lot of true like noteworthy matchups for week 1. You got Notre Dame, Texas A&M, you got Georgia, Clemson. I really think that's it as far as like ranked matchups. You got to go Georgia, Clemson.
Yeah.
Well,
Miami, does
Miami, Florida, because I really want to see what Cam Ward is going to do.
The what game?
Miami versus Florida game.
Miami, Florida.
See what Cam Ward.
I think if you wanted to twist the question a little bit, what's the most interesting college matchup of the week?
Yeah.
Does the Sunday game at LSU and USC, does that count as week 1 or is that week 2?
Still week 1.
That's still week 1.
SEC versus the West Coast. I mean,
that is an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I do like champs Miami 4-1. I think that one's really interesting.
Do you? I want to see what Cam Ward is going to do. He's also one of my breakout players. Damn. But he's also one of my breakout players of the week. I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves going into the next segment.
Shoot, you matter. Hey, it's fine. We could just turn into one big one. Just tie it all together.
I know that's my breakout player for this week. I mean, and that's my game of this week. I mean, Cam Ward versus Florida. I mean, because I really want to see, man, is the U truly back? I mean, we hear this every damn year. The U is back. The U is back. The U is all about the U. You ain't did that since 2001. It's the only reason that we remember you at this point. We remember you for that 2001 Miami team, and we remember you for that late flag that you had against Ohio State. Other than that, we really don't remember much for you. It's just been the same old thing over and over. Al Temple didn't succeed. Randy Shannon, who was a University of Miami alumnus, didn't succeed. You know, Manny Diaz, the inventor of the turnover chain, had one of the best defenses you ever want to see when Mark Richt was there. I mean, led the league in turnovers. They had over 40 damn turnovers that year before Mark Richt left. And then we thought the U was back then. Now we're hearing it all over again. The U is back. Well, University of Miami, let's see it. Are you really the dog that you say you are? Or are you all hype?
Ooh, I had a joke for this, but I don't know if I should say it. Should I say it?
Go ahead.
I've probably said it on this show. So
man, the University of Miami is about as back as an old man's hairline. Boy, they way off.
Oh, dude, that's so tame. I thought you were gonna do something
else. I'm just saying, bro. They way off. I mean, I ain't know if it was going. I ain't know if it would hit like that. But I'm just saying, Miami, saying the University of Miami is back is like it's like you remember when we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and all that stuff, and I was the one that was just like, who cares? That's just how I feel. Like that's just how I feel. Like, who cares? Who cares at this point?
I think it's because I think you could make the argument for both schools. They've been both kind of irrelevant for a while now. Like, yeah, Florida used to be the Alabama, Georgia SEC team that kind of ran the show when Urban Meyer was down there. So, you know, are either of these teams at a point where they can like get back into the conversation of, oh, wait, yeah, we forgot about you guys. But I mean, maybe that part of it to me is interesting in general. You know, I mean, Florida hasn't been relevant since Chris Leak, Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, you know, whatever. But, you know, like all those guys. So I think that's kind of the most interesting matchup where I'm going to go with you, champ. I think it's actually Miami, Florida.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like I said, the U is back. We hear that every damn year. I mean, let's see if you're really back or if you're just really riding the coattails of Ed Reed and that 2001 team. Because that's all we remember for you right now. I don't remember anything else. So now let's see if this Miami alumnus, who is the head coach, can do where so many have failed. If you can do that, then the U is back. We give you your proper chunk. But until then, I don't want to hear nothing about the U. I'm just being real. It's just like every single year, the U is back. You win a few games, and then you're virtually like Colorado. And no disrespect to Dion, but you're virtually like Colorado. It's like, yeah, at the beginning of the year, you reel off 3 wins. Okay, good. Then you actually go out there and play somebody, and in the great words of Kirk Franklin and Youngbook, you get stoned. So
that I feel the same way about Notre Dame. I've been here for years, like, oh, this is Notre Dame's year. This is when they're going to get the job done. And every year it's just kind of like, I don't, until I see it, then I don't want to
Notre Dame's credit though, we have at least saw them in national championships.
Yeah,
with you, it's not even close.
Well, no, but the conversation around Notre Dame is like, there wasn't like Notre Dame's expectation is to be the school. Like, it's not just to win a national, but because Notre Dame has such a storied history. Like, we've been waiting for this Notre Dame dynasty for the last like 30 years, and like they've gotten so close at times, and then they just fumble it away. And now they're getting to the point where it's like, okay, you need to literally join a conference or you're not going to be relevant. Well, I shouldn't say that. They'll always be relevant. It's Notre Dame. But, we've been hearing that for like this expectation of them. Yeah, they've been in national title games, but they've never been what everybody's expected them to be. They're kind of like the in a way, like Cowboys. There you go. Exactly what I was saying. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Every year, I just keep hearing like this. That's what they're supposed to be. What's up, Brandon? So yeah, like Miami, Florida, even Notre Dame. I want to see something. Show me, like, give me a reason to tune into NBC again every Sunday.
BRF.
Well, honestly, I really don't have too much to add as far as like the Notre Dame aspect of it. Yeah, because y'all pretty much hit it. Like, I look at the Notre Dame fighting hours like the Dallas Cowboys. It's like whenever I hear like, oh, they're gonna do it. It's like, I don't give a damn.
Yep.
Like, I don't care. Like, okay, yeah, you got this guy or you got this recruit or you have this schedule. You got a shot to do something. Okay, we've been waiting on that for like ever, and it still ain't happened. So why should I be excited about it?
I got a question. Random question. So they just put up Travis Hunter's stats for tonight. So he's played 35 offensive snaps, 43 defensive snaps. He's got 116 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh.
So my question is, what record does Colorado have to finish with for him to be in the Heisman discussion?
They need at least 8.
They need at least 8, and I don't see them.
They need at least 8. They need to be at least 8-4. They need to be at least 8-4.
Because he's my Heisman guy. He's my that to me, he will be at the end of the year. Even if he doesn't win the Heisman, everybody's going to go, that's the best player in college football.
They need to go at least 8-4, and they need to be competitive with everybody. They need to have great games, and he needs to show out offensively and defensively. I think 8-4, and he's got a legit shot at a school like Colorado to win the Heisman.
Okay.
Yep. And look out for Sador too, because the thing is, man, people can talk smack all they want to, but he damn near got 400 yards tonight. Now I know people are gonna say, well, it's with the FCS school, but keep in mind, this FCS school is constantly in the national championship conversation. In fact, they just put the 4th overall pick in the NFL just a couple of years ago at Trey Lance.
Yeah, so, they're not.
They're not one of these. I hate to say this, but I have to say that they're just not one of these slapdick teams that you're just going to play on Saturday morning and just say you're just going to beat the hell out of them. This
isn't like Mississippi State Tech.
Yeah, just say they ain't playing Bishop Sycamore. So yeah.
So I know. No. I do think that I kind of want to look at their schedule more.
So they ain't playing Bishop Sycamore. So people who are out there sitting around here saying they're not playing anymore. This plate North Dakota State is a flat out dynasty when it comes to college football on the FCS level. So I mean, hey, I'm trying to
dude, I'm looking at their schedule and like you gotta win at least 7 games. Like I feel like their ranked teams they play are Kansas State, Arizona, Utah, and Kansas.
Good.
I don't see them beating Utah, but I can see them beating Kansas.
I think they can. Every one of those games are winnable. I know Utah does. They can contend, and they're like one of those like sleeper powerhouse teams that could probably sneak into the playoff. But yeah, I think Colorado can get there. I'm not saying I think Colorado could get all those. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, I think they could get Arizona. I don't think they could get Kansas. I think the first 4 games, you got to set the tone. Because I think the next game, I don't think Dylan Raiola, I don't think he's ready for prime time as of yet. Even if he went to Georgia, I would have said that. Because that's how come I really think that he didn't want to go to Georgia because I think he was going to have to sit for another year with Carson Beck.
Mm-hmm.
I think these first 3 games, these first 5 games, you got to set the tone because going down that stretch, it's going to be uglier than the Masterpiece sneakers. So you got to do something.
You got to come out of these first 5 games at least. I think you literally got to come out of these first 5 games 4-1.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something. And I mean, it ain't a stretch what Flash is talking about. We saw, the University of Louisville, they literally lost 4 games and Lamar Jackson still won the damn Heisman. So
yeah.
That's
that and in my opinion, Lamar Jackson this year was, in my opinion, the best player in college football, regardless of school. Yeah. So I think him winning the Heisman was the right decision.
Yeah. Who's your breakout player for this week? BRF.
Not only is he my breakout player for the week, he's my guy to watch for the season as far as like a guy that could really make a name for himself, not just in college football, but coming up in next year's draft. Because LSU has a tendency to put out wide receivers. Watch out for Kyron Lacy this year at LSU, the wide receiver. As the number 3, he put up 558 yards and 7 TDs last year as the number 3. So imagine him getting more of an opportunity in that style of offense where they like to throw the ball with his abilities. I like him. I like him a lot. If I got a breakout player, I'm going Kyron Lacy, LSU.
Flash.
I'm going kind of deep with this one just because I like quarterbacks and I'm a big. So Malachi Nelson transferred from USC over to Boise State, former 5-star recruit, and I think he's in a position to put up numbers. I always like the guys that transfer. I want to see the guys that are frustrated with their situation and they transfer. And I think he's in a good place at Boise State to actually put up some numbers and kind of break out this year. And I'm curious to see where he goes in general. That's my breakout.
All right. Any potential upsets this week? Anybody?
I think A&M can beat Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Notre Dame for me hasn't always been a team that traveled well like that. So having to go to A&M, they can get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Hell of a job. I mean, this is why we're the big 3, man, because the knowledge that each of us have, we can carry everything. Let's stick to football, man. We was going to go into basketball, but let's stick to football, man. We saw this big extension happen today with Brandon Ayuk. He got the 4-year, $120 million deal, $78 million guaranteed. What are you guys' thoughts about that? And is the Super Bowl a bust for them at this point in time? It's like, is it win now, or it's just like, hey, you're not going to ever win it if you don't win it this year? So, because, the drama for the contract is gone. There's no more drama. in the great words of Mary J. Blige. There's no more drama around that contract. Now everybody's in there. You got Ricky Pearsall, who you drafted in the first round. He's doing although he's injured, he's projected to do a hell of a job, especially with that loaded receiving core. You got your tight end back. You got Run CMC. The only person you're really missing at this point is Trent Williams. So is it really Super Bowl title or bust this year for the Niners, man? Whoever wants to go first.
I'm just glad the drama's over. I got so sick of hearing about this crap. He started to sound like the player that, like, he started to sound like an ex-wife that was just never happy. Well, I don't want this, and no, that's not enough money, and that's quarterback situation is not good enough for me. And nope, I don't want that, but I just deserve, like, dude, like, crapper, get off the pot. Like, let's go. And he finally did it. And after all this months of, like, is he going to go here? Is he going to go there? Blah, blah, blah. He ends up staying in San Francisco. And Champ, I saw your video earlier about how a lot of 49ers fans were saying that he ain't going nowhere. And he ended up not. So in that aspect, I'm just glad this drama's over with. Is it Super Bowl or bust? Yeah. I don't like saying that, but Mike Shanahan is on the verge of being pre-Kansas City Chiefs Andy Reid.
Is it bad to say I think he's already there?
I think he's really close.
I don't think he's really close. I think he's there.
You think so?
In a great way, I think I would never forgive him for that damn Super Bowl.
I think he's there because it's not even if you want to go back to the Falcons Super Bowl, that's fine. Dude went to San Fran, has already won 2 NFC championships and hasn't been able to close the door. Granted, the same team shut it on him. But a lot of people were picking you to beat Kansas City last year. A lot of people thought you were going to get yes. People thought San Francisco was going to get them last year. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. No. I feel like everybody said on paper, yes, San Francisco should win this game, but everybody went, but it's P. Mahomes.
To be honest with you.
But this is what I say though. I think a lot of people look. I think what it was, a lot of people looked at the Christian McCaffrey factor, which was something that they didn't have in the first. Which was, this was something like the Christian McCaffrey factor is just like it's a whole different animal because I feel right now he is the best running back in the National Football League right now. So I mean, I just felt like, I don't know, man. I felt like.
It's still.
I mean, I didn't pick him to beat. I mean, I wasn't picking him to beat Kansas City, but I was just trying to, like, if I could go back and kind of gauge the temperature a little bit. I felt like, I don't know, like I feel like there was some room where San Francisco probably could have got them, and that's why I kind of feel like Kyle Shanahan's already at that pre-Kansas City Andy Reid level.
I think he's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Champ. You go.
I don't think he's past that. I think it's worse.
Really?
I don't think it's worse.
I'll let you
explain. I don't think it's worse, but I'll let you explain.
The thing is, I think it's worse than what Andy Reid was in Philadelphia. Because if you really, really look at him before T.O. got there, Donovan McNabb didn't really have a lot of receivers. You had Todd Stinkston, who couldn't go across the middle. He would alligator arm something in the second. Then you had James Trash. He was a speedster, but he wasn't really that good. And the only really solid target that he had was that tight end and, Brian Westbrook. Those were the only 2 targets he really had on that offense. They were really a scheme team. Prior to T.O. getting there, it was really just, a lot of scheming. And remember, Deuce Staley ended up going to Pittsburgh because he couldn't stay healthy. Correll Buckhalter, the same thing. So I think it's worse because guess what? It was really Donovan McNabb and Jimmy Johnston's defense that was getting you to the NFC Championship every year.
So then my counterpoint to that is that has he had a Donovan McNabb level quarterback?
No. No.
Not Matt Ryan.
No.
Has he?
As the coach of the 49ers, hell no.
No, he hasn't. But the thing is, he's had some of the best. I'm talking about as far as the skill players.
I know.
He's had some of the best skill players. Well, I will say this because I've been saying this. The 49ers at the skill position are the best players money can buy.
For the most part, yeah. Yeah.
The best players money can buy. So the thing is this. You have all of these great players, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side. You have arguably the greatest left tackle, arguably of all time, next to Anthony Munoz and Bruce Matthews. And every time you have an opportunity, and you have a hell of a running back each and every time you made it there. You had Devontae Freeman when he was at the Atlanta Falcons. The only thing you had to do was run out the clock. Julio sealed the game for you. You had the game at the end. You had the game at the end with Kansas City the first time. You had Raheem Morton.
Yeah,
you didn't run the ball.
Jimmy,
you had the game locked up.
If Jimmy, I've been saying it for years. If Jimmy G makes that one throw, Patrick Mahomes is his legacy is different. We think about Jimmy G 1,000 times differently. We think about Mike Shanahan off of one throw. I don't think he's at Andy Reid level yet because I think he gets a pass to a certain extent because he's had to literally all of his failures have been against Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And
in order to beat the best, you got to get past the best.
I don't disagree.
And you've had the tools in order to do so. You had, like I said, in Atlanta, you had the best players money come out on the offensive side of the ball. Then you get even better when you go to San Francisco. And you have a back that can match that zone blocking scheme that your father invented. You invented the zone blocking scheme. So every time, no, I'm not yelling at you. But the thing is, CMC he fits that zone blocking scheme just like Terrell Davis, just like Clinton Portis. And the thing is, instead of running the ball like you're supposed to, you're sitting around here trying to outgun people. That is on your behind.
But again, at the end of the day, it's still Tommy touchdown and P. Mahomes.
But you have the ball the thing is, I don't give up a pass for it because you had the ball at the end of the game in order to steal it.
Look, I'm going to make a counterpoint to that. I get that, but see, I understand the to a certain extent the passing call on the 28-3 game. I kind of understand it. The thing that made Belichick and the Patriots, one of the things that made them so great and so good, is that they weren't afraid. Like they just curb stomped you. They put you out. They were going to make sure. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Belichick never played the odds and played it safe and all that kind of stuff. But if they had a chance to curb stomp you to make sure the beast was dead, they were going to put that. That was it. And I think the problem when you see teams go against guys like Brady, Mahomes, Montana, all the great quarterbacks, there's that feeling I got to put the beast down. I can't give them the opportunity. I can't give them the opportunity, which in turn actually gives them the opportunity, which is really weird, but it just kind of happens that way. It's why watching that whole Super Bowl last year, I'm like, this game's too close. San Francisco should be up by like at least 17 right now. Why is it so close? Why are you letting P. Mahomes, just hang around like this? You're going to lose this in the last second because it's P. Mahomes. So back to the original stuff, I don't think he's quite there yet. I think if he gets to a Super Bowl and then loses or gets to an NFC title game and loses to someone who's not a Tom Brady or not a Patrick Mahomes, then I think we're going to – like if he gets to an NFC title game and they lose to Green Bay this year, I think the Andy Reid compared – not that I think he's at or past Andy Reid. But Andy Reid has been, 4 NFC title games in a row?
He lost 4 NFC title games in a row.
That's dude. Like,
and champ, who did it take for him to break the streak?
T.O.
Well, I'm talking about which team did he play in the NFC Championship game that took it to break the streak? Thank you. I mean, hey, we got to be real about the situation. I'm just saying.
Move on, because Peerless Price ass can't catch. So, I mean, he could catch a cold butt naked in Alaska. So,
yeah.
Well,
anyway,
I was rooting for your Falcons in that game, by the way.
I was
let me tell you, Peerless Price to me is, if you're looking at Atlanta sports as a whole, if you want to say 10 worst contract, one of the 10 worst deals in the history of our city sports wise, in terms of like what we were expecting the player to be and what we got, he is like up there. Like, my God,
he passed the hell up there. We kept telling guys that the only reason he was shining in Buffalo was because of Eric Moses, and they just spent the first round pick in order to get it. Moving on. Look, let's take the football. Moving on. Let's take it back to Atlanta, because my main man BRF presented us with a hell of a start bitch cut today. So I'm gonna leave it up to y'all, man. So start bitch cut. Cheetah, Megatron, Julio Jones. Who you starting? Who you bitching? Who you cutting?
Now let me put the caveat on this.
Okay.
This is what that picture I sent you was. Which prime are you starting? This is prime. Which prime are you starting? Which prime are you benching? Which prime are you cutting?
Prime.
Yeah, this is at the peak of all. Well, I guess, yeah. Okay, we'll just say it. Peak of all three. Who are we taking? Start, bench, cut.
I think this is easy, in my opinion.
Oh, do you? Go. I want to hear it.
I think you're cutting Julio. I think you're trading Tyreek Hill and you're keeping Calvin Johnson.
Ooh.
I don't think it's that hard of a thing. As much as I like Julio, and I did like Julio in his prime,
he was allergic to the end zone.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't his fault.
It wasn't. He was allergic.
Wasn't all his fault.
Regardless if it's his fault or not.
You got to remember those Falcons teams spread the ball around, and they had some pretty good running games at their peak. So it's not on him.
I look
at only that, they double team. They damn near triple teamed his ass when he was in the red zone too. So yeah, that's another reason why.
I look at Calvin Johnson in the T.O. Randy Moss tier. I think Jerry Rice is in his own tier. Just FYI that he's the GOAT of GOAT. It's like Jerry Rice and then everybody else. So I think Calvin Johnson is in that realm of T.O. Randy Moss. And you got to remember, that's all they had was him. And nobody could stop him. So, and even Tyreek Hill, when he was in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill had Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, and they had the running backs, and like there were other weapons, and now he's in Miami. Like that's literally like the St. Louis Rams now from like the early 2000s and late 90s. So like when I look at that, I go, to me it's an easy thing. I'm keeping Calvin Johnson because I look at this way. Put Calvin Johnson on. Switch out Calvin Johnson to Tyreek Hill in Miami or Nikes. Do it in Kansas City. Switch them out. Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have to try. He can just go like this from now on. Like
he down there somewhere. He down there somewhere.
It's going to be Patrick Mahomes' talent. Imagine, but put Calvin Johnson with someone like Travis Kelce in his prime on the field. Now, you remember, Tyreek had prime Travis Kelce. So I don't even think this is Calvin Johnson is Calvin. Dude literally ran a 4.240 in like dress shoes, didn't he?
Yeah, the church shoes.
Yeah. Like, I love Cheetah, but and Julio is like completely screwed me in fantasy leagues way too much. So I just there's a little bit of biased hatred in that aspect because he just couldn't touch the end zone. But I think it's Calvin Johnson, dude. I think it's absolutely you keep him.
BRF.
The reason why it's not as easy for me as Flash makes it sound, you have to look at all three wide receivers and what they bring to the table. In terms of Tyreek Hill, I think he's the most versatile of the three, even at his size. With the fact that he can play outside, he can play inside. He's done returns and all that other stuff. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, I feel like he had the highest peak of the three. I mean, I don't think that's really up for discussion. Now, as far as Julio Jones, you can make a case longer period of dominance. Because when you look at Julio Jones and you look at the 2010s, who's the best receiver in the league? Julio Jones or AJ Green? Who's the best receiver in the league? Julio Jones or DeAndre Hopkins? Who's the best receiver in the league? Julio Jones or Devontae Adams? Who's the best receiver in the league? Julio Jones or Antonio Brown? Who's the best receiver in the league? Julio Jones or Odell Beckham Jr.? It's like the 2010s was always that question, and Julio Jones was either A or B. It just never failed. It never failed.
But that's why I think that's why when it comes to Calvin Johnson, when everybody asked who was the best wide receiver in the league, it was Calvin Johnson.
I get that, but what I agree. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like Julio Jones. It's the fact that for the entirety of the 2010s, you had to have a debate with him in it, which is kind of my point, and why I say you can make a case he might have had the longer period of a prime than the other three. Now if we're just gonna go to the start bench cut, from my perspective, I do think you start Calvin Johnson. I do think so.
I thought the question is keep, trade, cut.
It is keep, trade, cut. Okay. It is keep trade, cut. It's keep, trade, cut. So we're gonna keep. I think we keep Lordy. Oh man. I agree. I think you keep Megatron, you keep Calvin Johnson. I think, honestly, I probably, as much as I love Julio, I probably have to agree with Flash on this. I'm gonna agree with Flash on this. But
sorry, go ahead. You keep going.
No. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Who's better, prime Antonio Brown or prime Tyreek Hill?
Prime Antonio Brown.
Then to me, if you put Antonio Brown in this discussion, it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, for me, for even though as good as Tyreek Hill has been, prime Antonio Brown was just a different monster. He really was. For me, because it was because Antonio Brown, it was like for like a good 4 to 6 year stretch, he was basically averaging 100 balls for about 1,500 and double-digit touchdowns. Dude was just a different beast.
Yeah.
Hey, look, sorry, Julio, but when it comes to that, I got to take Megatron. Cheetah, dangerous. And that's not to say that Julio wasn't, but Megatron, Cheetah Hill, then Julio. Sorry, Julio, man. You played for my Atlanta Falcons, brought some glory there, but hey, I gotta give credit where credit is due, man.
And don't get me wrong, that catch in that 28-3 Super Bowl is still one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in my life, regardless of whether
that catch should have clinched the champ. That catch should have clinched the Lombardi Trophy for them. I don't know what the hell Kyle Shanahan was thinking. Being up 28-20, you made that catch. You're on the Patriots side of the field. Run the damn ball. They couldn't stop your running game. Like, what are you doing?
I know. I get it. I get it. But also, thank you, Kyle Shanahan.
But yeah, we know you're Patriots fans. But let's move on and move into some basketball, man. Look, this has been a topic all year long, from the time that March Madness ended to now. Rookie of the Year race for, WNBA. So, look, y'all know that Caitlin Clark has, been the clear-cut front runner in this thing. But Gotta ask this question, man. Has these 3 straight 20 rebound games put up back into the conversation that being Angel Reese? Flash. Excuse me, PRF.
No. For me, it still hasn't. Because I saw a post, I saw a stat, and it's really telling. And this is on top of how good Caitlin Clark has been as of late. The Fever started 1-8. The 14-8 since. They're playing much better team basketball, and Caitlin Clark is a catalyst. And the Chicago Sky have been they slipping up a little bit as of late. They slipping. They've been losing some games. Whereas with the Indiana Fever, they starting to beat some people. So I think even though Angel Reese has been doing this work with the rebounding, I personally think the Rookie of the Year race is starting to widen even more. Caitlin Clark's about got this thing wrapped up, if she doesn't already. I don't think this stretch for Angel Reese is helping her because Chicago Sky haven't been winning games. Indiana Fever have been playing much better basketball, and I'm starting to think like Flash. When they get to the playoffs, don't be surprised they put somebody out.
Yeah.
Do not be surprised if they put somebody out in the first round. Just don't be shocked. I think the gap's wider if it's not already clinched. Caitlin Clark is really the Olympic rest is. I think the Olympic rest has really helped her to kind of get herself back on track, kind of get her refocused, get her rest, get her back to where she needs to be. And let me tell you something, for the Indiana Fever, they need to start putting some respect on Kelsey Mitchell's name. That girl can ball. She can ball. She is like the perfect compliment to what Caitlin Clark does as like the primary ball handler, playmaker, all that. Kelsey Mitchell is good. That girl can shoot. She's the perfect complement to what Caitlin Clark does as the point guard. So, but yeah, this Rookie of the Year race is wider, in my opinion. I was holding out hope for Angel Reese because I'm an Angel Reese fan. But let me tell you something, Caitlin Clark is like, as far as the Rookie of the Year race, in my opinion, I think she's on a level. I think she's on another level right now. And particularly it's because of the way she's leading that Indiana team and the way they're playing as of late. Even though Angel Reese is playing good ball, this is not really. It's not helping her for the standpoint. The Indiana's playing better, and Caitlin Clark is balling. So, it's not helping her. I still think Caitlin Clark pretty much got this about wrapped up.
Okay. Flash.
It's over.
Okay.
I don't think the gap widen. I think it's just Caitlin. It's just Caitlin Clark is becoming what everybody expected her to become. That we are starting to see that come to fruition. She is. And to your credit, champ, you were the one that was a big proponent of letting her rest during the All-Star break, get a break, like to gather her whatever back. And you were right. You were absolutely 100% right that this would kind of, probably get her and the team kind of just, and 100% you were right. But we are seeing why I think at the beginning of the season when there was a discussion of the Caitlin Clark backers were like, and I said too, the way she affects the game is far and away more than what Angel Reese can do right now when it comes to a skill set. Angel Reese is a great inside presence. She is a good, really, really, really good rebounder. But if you watch them on a game-to-game basis, she does not have near we're talking different there, Brandon. That's different.
We talk about the blue jean shorts, but
boy, don't hey, focus. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
We shall not talk about her Reese's Pieces. We shall not do that.
Oh man! Oh!
How did nobody come up with that yet? Anyway,
I don't know, but that was so perfect.
I need to trademark that before she.
That was perfect. Oh my god!
I'm done. I'm so done.
That was perfect. That was perfect. Oh, we need a champ. You need a soundboard. When somebody reels something on for perfection like that, we need a hand clap of praise. You need a soundboard.
But no. So I do think that I mean, Caitlin Nazar. I think she's beaten the assist record. She just beat the 3-point record. I think literally, I think there's been this way in the last 10 games, Indiana's 7-3. In the last 10 games, Chicago's 3-7.
Yeah.
And on top of it, Indiana, what Caitlin is doing, I think in a couple games, 4 of their players have been in double-digit points.
Yeah, Kelsey. I mean, that team, if you really want me to be honest with you, that team, Caitlin was the missing piece because Aaliyah Boston was already an all-star.
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, people want to, the narrative is, folks who don't watch the WNBA, I will say, but we're not new to this. We're true to this. The narrative is, oh, yeah, she's on the team with a bunch of nobodies, but not necessarily. Aaliyah Boston was Rookie of the Year last year and an all-star. Let's just keep it all the way 100. And Kelsey Mitchell is a 2-time all-star. Caitlin is a missing piece on that team, a point guard that they needed. And not to mention, I think her last name is Lennox.
Yeah,
Lennox. She is going off. So I think she was the missing piece that you needed, a legitimate point guard that can put you in a legit position in order to win some games. And that way, all the pressure's not on Kelsey Mitchell in order to do all the scoring. That's a hell of a backcourt.
I've said all along, ever since we started covering this when they were all drafted, what the thing that will separate Caitlin Clark, I think, from every other WNBA player is the way that she sees the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing holding back the Indiana Fever was their lack of practicing together.
Yeah,
that's why you saw so many turnovers. So that's why the thing where the turnovers are becoming that's the other thing. All the turnovers that she had were partially her fault, absolutely, but also because her teammates had some
fingers.
Yeah. So, and that was lack of practice time and timing. And so now we're starting to see them understand Caitlin's vision, how she sees the court. And her passing skills there is nobody in the league right now on her level when it comes to passing. Everybody talks about her 3-point shooting. That's it. But go watch her run the floor and watch her run the offense and what she sees.
Would you compare her to John Stockton as far as her passing or Steve Nash when it comes to her passing?
I compare, go back to old Larry Bird highlights. I compare her to Larry Bird. Watch the way he sees the floor.
Yeah. I was trying to go away from that a little bit because, that's the typical answer.
It's
Caitlin, white person thing.
No. It's just you think you're slick, but
I mean, come on, it's right there.
But no. You don't want to get the stereotypical answer, so you go to that's just the easy answer. So you go to a John Stockton or a Steve Nash because she's putting up Steve Nash type numbers.
Yeah.
When he won the MVP back in 2000 and
I think
2005. So
I think the way that she plays is like a hybrid of of Steve Nash and Steph Curry.
I was about to say that she is if Steve Nash and Steph Curry had a baby.
Yeah.
The Bird comparison is not just because of the Indiana white boy thing. It's not. It's not just that. It's more of just the way Bird saw the floor.
Yeah.
I just think her passing skills are very similar to that.
Interesting thing about Larry
But
Bird.
I can definitely see that too, though.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about Larry Bird. I'm just gonna be real. I was a young kid when I was learning about Larry Bird. I started watching basketball in 1990. I was 3 years old. It took me 2 years to figure out he wasn't a point guard. I'm just gonna be real with you. No, it took me 2 years to figure out that he wasn't the damn point guard. I'm like,
because his playmaking skills were that good.
No, it took me 2 years to figure that out. And then I kept telling my dad, that's the point guard. He said, you know, your dad cuts your ass out, you know, when you start getting stuff wrong. That's not the damn point guard, you idiot. He's a small forward. And I'm like, well, never mind. After a while, you start
honestly, he's the first original point forward.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like the truth, and there is an argument. Like there is an argument that Larry Bird was a better basketball player than Magic. You can say that Magic was like greater because of more titles and everything like that. But like on a pure skill level, like if you compare skill to skill to skill to skill, I think there's an argument that Bird is a better player, that just pure basketball player.
Yeah, you can make that. Yeah, you can make that argument because even though Larry Bird wasn't necessarily the playmaker Magic Johnson was, the fact that he was a better rebounder, could give you some defense, and he was a way better shooter.
Yeah, and
he was one hell of a shooter. He'll shoot your eyes out.
Oh, absolutely. So I think Caitlin Clark she's very Steve Nash and Steph Curry.
Speaking of Steve Nash, let's start some shit today. Let's start something. You know, I'm never gonna let us have a good show. It's your MVP candidate.
Not this year. She's building into next year. I think what she's doing is building into next year for her MVP case next year. Angel Wilson clinched this award after the first month of the season. MVP been over, but she's building in the next season. I think that's what she's doing. I think if they keep on this run and get a higher seed, she might get some love in the MVP race, maybe some votes, but that's about it. I still don't think she's like a true candidate this year, just because Angel Wilson is just far and away better than everybody else right now. But come next year, we're gonna have a race next year. We're gonna have a real race next year, because you throw her name into the mix. You still got Breanna Stewart. You still got Sabrina Ionescu. You still got Feisha Collier with Minnesota. You gonna have a race next year. Angel Wilson just destroyed everybody out the block this year. I mean, MVP race is done, but next year is gonna be a race. But this year, nah, MVP's over. But I do think she's really kind of getting her foot in there for next year, because next year is gonna be fun.
I'm not gonna lie. The reason why I say she's an MVP candidate is this: as good as Angel Wilson is, the Aces are looking kind of terrible these last couple of games. I mean, and all due respect to the Chicago Sky, they don't, outside of Kennedy Carter, they don't have another legitimate scorer ever since they traded Mangrum. So you take away that lack of scoring that they have now. In the middle, they'll hurt you. But I'm just gonna be real. You know, for you to struggle and it has to go to a last second, you know, layup, which was a thrilling ball game. You know, caught the highest ratings outside of Caitlin Clark this year. The Aces versus the Sky. For them to be struggling like they are, if the Aces were head over heels over everybody like they were last year, I would say the MVP race is over. But because the team itself, not Angel Wilson, because the team itself is struggling a little bit, I believe that her name will come up in some MVP votes, simply because the Aces themselves are kind of struggling this year. They're not.
But my only comeback to that is it's not because of her. Because she's still putting up ridiculous numbers even in those losses.
Yeah.
Which is why I still think personally the Aces, even though they haven't played well as of late, it hasn't been enough to really like level the playing field of the candidacy, if I'm kind of making sense here.
Okay.
Indiana's only 3 games behind the Aces.
That's my point.
And I just want to look now. I said in our chat that when this topic was first brought up, I mildly said like I don't think she's like I think there'll be I think she'll just to create clicks and views and sports talk. I think she'll be in this topic will come up. I'm like, but I look at it right now. They started 1-8.
They started 1-8. They're 14-8 since.
They're the 7th seed right now, and they have 9 games left. Okay, they got 9 games left. They play Chicago tomorrow. They got 2 games in a row against Dallas and Los Angeles, and then they're both terrible.
They're gonna beat the piss out of them. So,
and then they got Minnesota, which is the 2nd seed right now. And then they got here's the thing. They play the Aces back to back on the 11th and the 13th.
Ew.
If Indiana can climb the ranks and because right now the Aces are the 5th seed. If we get to those 2 games and it's Indiana can overtake the Aces in the standings and they started out 1-8, I think it's a legit discussion. I think it should be. Because and if it's not, now here's the thing. I don't think she'll win it this year because I think of politics and optics. But I think if we get to those 2 games in mid-September, right before the end of the season, Indiana, there's a chance, and Indiana does take over like the seeding. The Aces haven't clinched a playoff spot yet, by the way. Just FYI. I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yeah, they haven't clinched it.
Nope. And if Indiana keeps going this way, and we get to those back-to-back, and you get a Caitlin Clark versus Asia Wilson head-to-head for 2 games in a row for the right to the possible, 4th seed. Because Seattle's right there. They're only 4 games behind Seattle.
Yeah.
And they're only man, I don't know. I think it's a wait and see. But if we get there,
that's why I brought it up, because the thing is, it's a huge comeback. And like I said, it's not because Asia Wilson is not putting up numbers.
No,
her numbers are undeniably MVP caliber. It's historic. But the thing is, the Aces are not looking good. It's like, damn, she scored. I mean, the other night, Asia Wilson scored 42 points, hit 73% from the field, and they still lost. I'd be mad as hell.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. She hit 40. She scored 42 points.
I know.
Got 6 boards, 5 assists, 3 blocks. Hit 72% from the field. And they still lost. Kelsey Plum only scored 8 points that whole game. And they still lost.
You read that stat line for Angel Wilson again?
It was 42 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, 73% from the field. And they still lost.
But you see why I still think she's going to win it? That stat line is ridiculous. Not only is she MVP, but she's also Defensive Player of the Year. That's why I still think she's going to win it.
Okay, and I don't besides the optics and the politics part of it, I don't disagree with you. But tell me that we don't get to September 11th and 13th, and Indiana's still on a run, and they overtake them in the standings.
They have to win both. They have to beat them both times.
I agree. I'm just saying
they got to beat them both times.
Because right now, I don't think, and this is my apologies to Angel Reese's pieces, but we're going to, if that happens, we're not going to have a discussion of is it Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark. We're going to have a discussion, is it Asia Wilson?
Angel Reese or Asia Wilson?
Is it Caitlin Clark?
Is it Caitlin Clark or Asia Wilson?
Yeah. Caitlin Clark, who's the best player in the league. No, it's okay. I'm excited because I'll definitely, it's a Wednesday and a Friday night. Like, one game is on Ion and one game is on NBA TV. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now.
They didn't take that damn game off Ion. No disrespect to that network, but they take that shit off Ion.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Like, you better put these games.
Take that damn shit off Ion and put it on prime television. Nobody watch no damn Ion.
Put it on that, ABC, ESPN. Put it on something people actually gonna watch.
I mean, I can't even. I've been. The reason why I say that, man, no disrespect to Ion's network, but guess what? I have so much damn trouble finding WNBA games on Ion's network because that shit is hidden off somewhere. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I'll be that guy. I'll disrespect him. It's Ion. Get that crap off of Ion. What's this?
Man, the only thing that, in my opinion, the only thing the Ion network is good for is reruns of NCIS. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm done.
This is. I want to see. I want to see Asia Wilson versus Caitlin Clark back to back on ESPN. Or you really want to do something. I don't know how this works or how it would work, but bring the NBA the NBA tonight and put them on TNT. Make it. Bring Barnes back and make it a show. You got back to back Asia Wilson versus Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, you got to make a spectacle out of that.
Yep.
Hey,
this is your opportunity right here for serious league big game marketing. When you have arguably the two hottest players in the league. Oh yeah, you got to do something with this.
And they haven't played each other, by the way, since July 2nd. So
and it's a whole nother Caitlin Clark and a whole nother Indiana field.
Another ball game now. So I'm telling you right now, if they're even closer in the standings, and Indiana keeps going, this better be on prime time. Absolutely.
Hey, don't be surprised. I'm gonna just end it on this note right here. Don't be surprised some controversy happen if that happens. If they end up overtaking the Aces in some standing. Now we as sports savants will say, well, hell, they overtook you in the rankings, in the playoff rankings. So. And then they started off 1-8, and they just went on a run and started reeling them off. Now you're the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. So I mean,
dude,
Did
you guys see the? I was going to make a video about this yesterday, but I chose to go the WWE route. But the Stephen A. comments on what Cheryl Swoops didn't say.
What she didn't say.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Cheryl Swoops was on her podcast, Queen of the Courts or something like that, and she basically gave credit to like everybody else on Indiana except for Caitlin Clark. And Stephen A. was like, "Hey, like, can you guys stop like not giving this girl credit for whatever?" And I was going to make a video basically saying like, "Is this just Stephen A. creating drama, or is this more sour grapes from either the old guard of the WNBA or not?" And dude, can you imagine if Caitlin Clark, let's say we get to September 11th and 13th and Indiana beats Las Vegas and takes them over, and then it's a legit, can you imagine her winning Rookie of the Year and MVP? Has that ever happened in sports?
Yes, it did.
Candace
Parker
in sports, Ichiro did it too, I think.
Yeah, both of them did that too. One of Candace Parker did that in 2008.
Did Kareem do it?
I don't know.
I have to look up Kareem.
But I know as far as WNBA concerned, the last time that happened was in 2008. So Candace Parker did that.
And then in sports overall, Ichiro did it that 2001 season, Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year.
When Candace Parker won it, though, was there somebody as dominant as Asia Wilson playing in the WNBA at the time?
I gotta look back on it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Because I feel like.
Hold on, let me go look back on that season.
He was drafted in 69 to Milwaukee. He didn't win an MVP until 71.
2008.
I'm talking about Kareem.
I'll drop a quick sports hot take. I think Aaron Judge should have did it his rookie year.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Bro, you remember his rookie year?
I ain't giving no Yankees nothing.
Bro, go pull up Aaron Judge's rookie year and pull up them stats.
I can care less about them Yankees.
Nah, real record champ. Come on, champ. Real recognize real on this podcast.
I understand what you're saying, but I will never, ever say anything good about the Yankees.
I used to be like that, but then I got older and wiser too. I can't be like that no more. I got to give credit where credit is due.
During Candace Parker's rookie year,
he actually did finish second in the MVP voting that year. Aaron Judge.
Damn, didn't know that.
See, that's why I say he should have won it. If you look up Aaron Judge's numbers that rookie year.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. That's why I think he should have won it.
Is it true he like 6'8"?
He is 6'7", 282.
God damn. Oh, I didn't realize
he was 6'7", 282 pounds.
How big was Frank Thomas?
He was 6'4".
He was 6'4".
That's it?
He was 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
Oh, shout out to Frank Thomas, man. Shout out to Frank Thomas, man. Straight out of Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, he was like 6'4", 6'5". Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he played tight end at Auburn for 1 year.
He was 6'5". Okay.
He was 6'5". He was 6'5".
Okay.
So during that year that Candace Parker won the MVP, Diana Taurasi was in there, Becky Hammond was in there, Lisa Leslie was in there, and Sue Bird was in that race. So
good. They were good, but not Angel Wilson dominant.
They were not Angel Wilson type.
Okay. That's kind of my I think this is something different where
the whole Shaq versus Steve Nash type of
good one. I like that. I kind of like that.
Yeah. But although Shaq was just out there just dominating back in 2005 when he first left the Lakers, Steve Nash was kind of carrying that team with the 1-2-3 offense out there with Mike D'Antoni. So
that and nobody was really picking Phoenix for anything that year, and they just shot out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I think that could be that. I think that if they come down to it and the Aces have to really beat the Fever back to back and go back to back, and it comes down and they overtake them in the standings, a lot of people are going to be pissed off because the thing is, I can see Caitlin winning it if that happens, if they end up beating them and overtaking them in the ratings.
I got an idea. So I think we should do a watch party type thing for at least game one. If Indiana is
if it gets to that point,
we got
to do that.
I agree.
We should do a watch party. So basically, do like a live stream and watch the game, and
I agree
to do a Pat McAfee type thing.
I agree
because I'm. Dude, can you imagine the other poop storm that is going to cause, like, social political wise, if Caitlin does overtake, like, if that happens?
If people, here's what I say. If it even, I'm going to just be real. Leave the social part out of this shit.
I don't.
No strike on you. But people got to leave that part out of it. Watch the damn game.
I don't disagree.
The thing is this. If you're watching the game, you can understand why.
Yes.
My thing is, leave all the social and political shit out of it. My thing is this. If she is able to overtake them in the rankings, because like I said, the reason I brought up this conversation, I've been watching the Aces since they was kicking ass last year. I ain't just started watching the Aces.
Yeah.
And I watched them when they was kicking ass the year before. So the thing is, they're on the whole time during the offseason, regardless of what Caitlin Clark was doing, regardless of what Angel Reese was doing, Rakia Jackson, all this rookie class, Cameron Brink, regardless of what they doing, one of the main stories of can they three-peat? That was the whole thing. Three-peat. One of the main stories going into this season. Can they three-peat? Is Angel Wilson? I mean, and the thing is, if you really want me to be honest, that narrative of Angel Wilson being the GOAT, where did that start? Right here on this podcast. We started that discussion. So the thing is, if you really are watching the game and understand the game, and how do you go from 1-8? Guess what? When you're 1-8, the damn season's over.
Yeah, supposed to be anyway.
In a lot of cases, you 1-8, the damn season's over. You're looking at the number 1 overall pick next year. That was a big question that I was going to ask early in the season. Well, damn, are we going to see Paige Buckner and Caitlin Clark on the same team next year?
Oh no, but hey, I think we all talked about they just need somebody else.
Yeah,
like, why they have
let me tell you, man, if the Indiana Fever lost and got the number 1 pick and were able to add Paige Beckers to Caitlin Clark, good God Almighty.
There was a lot of questions on if that you was 1-8 in any sport, you're basically you're SOL. For you to come back after that big of a deficit, and now you're in the position to overtake the 2-time defending world champions in the playoffs and go over on them, it's pretty much that puts you in an MVP conversation. That's not being political. That's being realistic.
It shouldn't be. This is kind of why I wanted to go when we're done tonight. Go look up the Stephen A. Cheryl Swoops thing, and it's why I was like, is Stephen A. just stirring up crap just for the sake of stirring up crap? But no, there shouldn't be a social political.
It shouldn't be, because if you understand the game,
yes.
The thing is, if somebody, like I said, 1-8 in any sport, the damn season's over with.
It's over.
It's over. You're number 1 overall pick. You're starting to talk about the only other team I've ever seen come back from a deficit like that was the 1993 Houston Oilers, when they started 1-4 and they won 11 straight. That's the only team I've seen start that damn horribly and come back and just legitimately make noise. But the thing is, in basketball, you start 1-8, they automatically in the news, in the media, they're talking about first overall pick. For them to come back and go 14-8.
I mean, there was a little bit of let's see what happens. But I mean, for the most part, everybody's like, hey, there's a reason why they stunk last year, yada yada yada.
So,
blah, blah, blah.
When you understand the game, guess what? It's not hard to put her in the conversation. Like I said, this is no knock on Angel Wilson. We understand she's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? These GOAT conversations with Angel Wilson started here. But if they overtake the Aces, because guess what? Angel Wilson, you take Angel Wilson off that team, don't look like the Aces are doing anything without her on that team.
This is
the definition of valuable.
I got a legit question.
So if you take Caitlin off the Fever, guess what? They win in 5 games. You take Angel Wilson off the Aces this year, they're only winning a certain amount of games. So I think it's a legitimate conversation that should be had for them two to be in the MVP race. I think the Rookie of the Year race is over. Guess what? Let's start talking about that big shit.
If they get the 4th seed, let's say they get the 4th seed, or even if they get the 5th seed and overtake the Aces and the Aces drop down to 6th seed, is Caitlin Clark the MVP of the league?
You can make a legitimate argument.
You can make a legitimate argument.
I don't want is she? Should she be?
You can make a legitimate argument. If you overtake the Aces in the standings, then guess what? You have a legitimate argument to be MVP.
But also it's still the numbers. It's still the numbers. And even if they do, Angel Wilson's pure numbers are still just ridiculous. They're still astronomical compared to everybody else. Caitlin Clark has to go in legit God mode at this point. In turn, for her numbers to be in a discussion with Angel Wilson, Caitlin Clark has to go sheer God mode. That's why I'm still not sure if she's MVP. Angel Wilson has just been wired the wire, the best player in the WNBA, and just she's in the conversation, but to outright give it to her, I still wouldn't know at that point.
if they take over, hold up.
Just gonna be real. Right now, Angel Wilson has, these are her numbers: 27 points, 11.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 1.9 steals. And also, let me look up the blocks. She's also averaging 2.7 blocks a game.
3 blocks a game.
Yeah, for Caitlin Clark, she's averaging 18 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 8 assists. She's leading the league in assists, and 1.4 steals a game. Let me make sure that she may be leading the league in steals at this point, but I'm not sure. No, she's not leading the league in steals. But as far as leading the league in assists and being a catalyst for this comeback that they're having, this resurgence that they're having, I think it's a legitimate argument.
Dude, she just did a 29, 5, and 10.
That Angel Wilson?
No, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, a couple games.
Yeah, against Phoenix. Like,
yeah, Phoenix. Hey,
dude, she had a game against Dallas. Now they lost, but she went 24, 6 rebounds, and 19 assists. Mm-hmm. Holy!
Hey, it's crazy. But like I said, man, people thought I was just spitting out pipe bombs, but yeah, it's a legitimate argument that can be made.
It's a legit argument. I think if we get to those,
if they go back to back and beat the Aces and overtake the Aces, we're gonna start hearing some stuff. Hey, remember, y'all heard it here first. You're gonna start hearing some stuff about it.
I'm gonna say it right now. If they overtake the Aces and they win those games back to back, I think she is the MVP.
I still don't.
And I'm going to say here, not just because of the 1-8, not just because of just bringing that back and everything else. Look at all the criticism and crap surrounding her all season. Look at all that social political stuff that's been surrounding her all season. Look at the clotheslines and the random other players like just running up on her and giving her a shoulder tackle and stuff like that. Like, to literally go through all that, go to 1-8 and climb out of all of that to overtake the 2-time defending champs. Dude,
that's something to behold.
How can you? To me, you have to give it to her. You have to.
No, not with 27 and 11 still. No, you don't. No, you don't still. No, you don't still. No, you don't still.
Like I said, if this conversation end up happening, I'm gonna just be real. We're gonna see something in the WNBA similar to what happened in 2005 with Shaquille O'Neal and Steve Nash. I'm telling you, because remember, let me go to Shaq's stats in 2005. I have to go there because I think this is what Angel Wilson is doing right now. It's similar to that. Because remember, in 2004-2005 season, one moment. Hold on. I gotta look up this stat. Because remember, he was averaging 22. He was averaging 22 and 10.
Yep, 22, 10, couple of assists, a half a steal, and
so it's don't be surprised if we see something similar to that.
But wasn't the main reason Steve Nash won that first MVP, besides the numbers he put us at the point guard, weren't the Phoenix Suns the number 1 seed in the West that year?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I get what y'all saying. If she overtakes the Aces, if she overtakes them, I get that. Steve Nash won the MVP not just on his numbers, but the fact that he led the Phoenix Suns from nobody talking about them to the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah,
I mean
that's why he won the MVP.
Yeah, but that's the case for Caitlin. You went from
especially
1
if you get the number 4 seed.
What if you start 1-8? Yeah.
Like I said, you start 1-8 at anything, no damn season over with. You talking about
so then you finish the year overtaking the 2-time defending champs and get the 4th seed? Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I still don't know.
The worst team in the league the worst team in the league, and you started 1-8.
I know, but still, man. I'm still not about to overlook them pure numbers. Still, regardless, I'm not. I can't yet.
When is the end? I'm just gonna say it. I think if they overtake them and they get the 4 seed, which now the 4 seed's a little bit of a stretch, but they can definitely get the 5 seed away from the Aces, and the Aces would drop down to 6.
Yeah.
But I think if they get the 4th or 5th seed and they overtake the Aces and they finish the season that way, and they win those games back to back,
yeah,
I'm gonna say it right now. To me, in my opinion, you have to give Caitlin Clark the MVP.
Okay.
And remember, y'all heard it here first, man. Hey,
okay. I don't agree, but okay.
I just, dude,
I see both sides, man. I see both sides.
I don't know. I'm sorry. No, that's my thing. No, I mean,
I see both sides.
My thing. I don't. I mean, I get that, but we're gonna give her the MVP off of a stretch over a full season of dominance, regardless of the records. I'm saying, at least Steve Nash situation was a full season of the Phoenix Suns destroying everybody and getting the number 1 seed.
I mean, I don't like complete. I get your argument. I understand. This would be something like we've never seen before. Like the only thing I can really think of, like a comparison, would be like the 89-90 Atlanta Braves going from last to first.
Yeah.
And
I'm clipping the hell out of this. This is awesome.
You can't, dude. You go from the worst team in the league to all the hype and hoopla and anger and jealousy and everything else. Then you start 1-8 on top of it. And everybody's just crapping on Caitlin Clark and just going like, oh, it's just another overrated blah 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 blah. So now you're the 4th seed or the 5th seed, and you overtook the defending champs. At the end of the year, you beat them twice back to back.
I believe you'll get them in Indiana. You ain't winning in Las Vegas. So, but hey, hell of a segment, man. This is why we call us the Big Three. But regardless of all of the other sports, man, this is the moment I have been waiting on. This is the moment I have been waiting on. Because this is where all of y'all's knowledge come into place. I ain't got no part in this because I'm biased as hell when it comes to baseball. I'm just going to keep it real. I will say to this day, 95 Braves, greatest team of all time. But like I said, that's a biased take. But I'm going to leave it to y'all. Y'all have the floor. The hunt for Red October. Who's winning the World Series? Flash, BRF, you have the floor.
Go first, Flash. Oh, no, you go first. You go first.
When I look at the standings this year, we don't see a clear-cut winner. Like a clear-cut, this is the best team in the league. In fact, I can't really remember a season that we don't have, that we didn't at least have 1 or 2 teams, maybe even 3, that are kind of just separate from the rest. And this year, I mean, just in the AL East, you have both the Yankees and the Orioles. In the Central, you do have the Guardians, the Royals, and the Twins. And by the way, in those divisions as well, Boston's not that far behind. I mean, they're a little far behind. They're at 69 wins, and Detroit's at 68. But then you go to the AL West, you got Houston with 71 wins. Then you go into the NL, and you got Philly at 78, Atlanta at 73, the Mets at 70. The Milwaukee Brewers are at 77 wins. They're 77-56. And then you got the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks and the Padres all at 79 and then 76 and 76 wins respectively. I think we're going to see, as much as I don't want to say this, and I don't know who's going to win it, and I don't want to say this, but I think we're going to see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series.
Good God.
I don't want that. What I would love to see would be like a Cleveland Guardians versus Milwaukee Brewers World Series. I'm not biased. I'm from Wisconsin, so I have it. But I think Milwaukee's been the most consistent team all year. They haven't had a big, and they've just consistently won. And now they're basically, they have like the third best record in baseball. They're above 500 at home and away, but I just think the amount of star power that both New York and Los Angeles have, it's just too much. It doesn't make me feel good to say that. I don't like saying that because I apologize for the kiddies, but screw the Yankees and screw the Dodgers. But I just think that's going to be what it is. The Yankees are actually pretty healthy. I don't know. It doesn't make, I was looking at it before and that makes me, I don't know. What do you think, BRF?
Well, okay. So I remember preseason, I did all my divisional previews because I wanted to do something different. And from what I got from like the views and stuff, it was a pretty decent watch, and I was pretty proud of what I did with that. And I'm pretty proud of the results from that because I hit some stuff. I didn't get everything right, but I hit some stuff pretty good. My preseason World Series pick was Baltimore, Atlanta. And it wasn't a homer. It was actually just looking at how the teams were built.
It's Atlanta. I get it.
But I loved the Baltimore Orioles. I loved them acquiring Corbin Burns in the offseason. I thought that was going to be the one that actually kind of get them over the hump. I felt like that could be the one. And if I look at the divisions, I was right about the American League West. The East is Yankees, Orioles. I figured they would be the top two in the East. The AL Central, the Twins are up there. The Guardians are a lot better than what I was anticipating. A lot better than I was anticipating. And so is Kansas City. I think I picked Kansas City fourth to win that division, but I thought the AL Central was going to be a competitive division. Like I wasn't expecting Kansas City to be rolling like they are right now. They're playing really good ball, and particularly Bobby Witt. Any other year, he's the American League MVP. He just so happens to be playing in a year where Aaron Judge is having a better year than his last MVP year. That's not his fault. American League West, very disappointed in Texas. Very disappointed in Texas. I thought that was going to be Houston and Texas, wire to wire all the way. Houston's trying to run away with that thing out west. The NL West, as far as a division top to bottom, is surprising me the most. Because right now, on paper, they look like the best division in the National League with the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres all playing the way they are right now.
Yeah,
the NL Central, I did not Cincinnati is another team that's disappointed me this year. That division's over. The Milwaukee Brewers they'd have to choke that division away at this point. The Central's over.
They've done it before, but yeah,
you're right. I know, but I don't trust any of those other teams in the National League Central. Milwaukee, top to bottom, clears every team in that division. Hitting and pitching, they clear them all. The NL East. Why do I have a feeling Philly or Atlanta is winning the World Series this year still? I have a feeling. And the reason why I say this, the Braves, this is how I feel the Braves are the scariest team that could get hot right now. Because let me tell you something. This year's Braves pitching, you give me last year's offense, oh my God. That would be a spectacle to behold, because the Braves pitching this year has just been astronomically amazing, but the offense has just been so up and down. And Philly, they hit such a high. I said, and Champ, I told you they weren't going to be able to maintain it. And the Braves are like, they're starting to nip at them. I'm going to ride it to the wheels fall off. I still got Atlanta beating Baltimore in the World Series. I don't know why, but I feel like at some point, I just think that offense is going to click. And when it does, I think all hell is going to break loose because that pitching has been so good. So good. Particularly Spencer Schwellenbach. Where does Alex Anthopoulos find these bros? Whether it's Spencer Strider, Spencer Schwellenbach, you still got Freed. Ronaldo Lopez. Like I was not expecting what Ronaldo Lopez has done for them this year. And just I'm gonna stick with Baltimore Atlanta meeting in the World Series because I think Atlanta is going to be that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just something. I feel like something's about to click for them at some point. I will say this though, if I'm Baltimore, because the reason why I'm saying Baltimore over the Yankees, I think Baltimore has that edge when it matters comes playoffs. I think Baltimore's pitching is a little better, which is where I think they can ultimately get the Yankees. But the Yankees offense, particularly with Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, they give me the sense of one of these matchup proof offenses with those two. It doesn't matter who pitches against them. But then again, we were saying about the Braves last year, and look what Philly did to them.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at kind of at some pitching stats. The reason why I picked the Dodgers and the Yankees, one, they're both in the top 5 when it comes to opponents' averages and allowed hits.
Okay.
And on top of it, their offenses.
Right. Yeah.
Baltimore's 8th in overall opponent average. I'll just give you the top 10. Mariners, Astros, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Twins, Guardians, Orioles, Tigers, and Brewers. I just look at who's your dark horse to get there that could win it.
I'll give you one in each league as far as a dark horse.
Okay.
Arizona in the National League. And I'll give you Houston American League.
Okay.
So both of my dark horses are Western Division teams. And I guess since I'm still going with a Baltimore Atlanta World Series, I'll throw Atlanta in there as a dark horse too, just because a lot of people kind of jumping off the bandwagon. But I just feel like they're like one good offensive stretch from just doing what they should have been doing. But just to get away from that, I'll go Arizona's my National League dark horse, Houston's my American League dark horse.
Okay.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Flash fan?
I do like the Baltimore pick. I think that's the one team that I feel that but in the AL where I feel like it won't be a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. But look, and this may be my like age and my history and also like ick feeling towards the Yankees because they've like hurt my childhood and my heart so many times, and they're the Yankees. I know you said that Baltimore is like, like they could do that. Does Baltimore like in a 7-game series in the playoffs.
I like Baltimore's pitching more than the Yankees, though. But in particular, their bullpen. I just do. Okay. I do. Right. I do. I like Baltimore's. I like Baltimore's pitching more in the 7-game series than the Yankees. Garrett Cole's underachieved this year. I do like Luis Gil a lot. Nestor Cortez is starting to find himself a little bit, and so is Carlos Rodon. But I mean, I don't know. But that Baltimore bullpen, I trust it more. I trust it more in late game situations.
All right. I mean, just looking at stats, the Orioles have one more save total than the Yankees do, and they have 3 more blown saves than the Yankees. It's at the end of the day, it's still the Yankees and the Dodgers. It's like that thing that I've seen this before, except for like we've seen Houston the last handful of years or whatever, like do their thing. It's like, to me, like the Detroit Lions are always going to be the Detroit Lions until they're not the Detroit Lions. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The New England Patriots were always the New England Patriots until they were the New England Patriots. Like, they're not the guy until they're the guy. And I don't know, man. The homer in me, like, I want Royals, Milwaukee Brewers World Series. That's what I want. I want like 2 tiny small market teams and just throw in the face of all the New York, LA, whatever. That's what I want to see. But I don't think the MLB gods would allow that, because I don't know. Maybe I'm too
honest. This season, I don't think they might not have a choice depending on how things play out.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. I'll say this about the Kansas City Royals. I don't want to see them in the first round of the playoffs. I don't.
No.
You pray to God. You pray to God they either miss the playoffs or they get in the wild card series and lose. You do not want to see those boys in the divisional round if you're a divisional winner. You don't. But like I said, Bobby Witt Jr. is the MVP any other season in the American League.
Yeah, and I really shouldn't say that, because last year it was Texas and Arizona. I mean, the Rangers aren't really a small market, but they weren't the typical powerhouse Major League Baseball team.
Exactly.
So maybe I'm kind of talking out of my butt a little bit. I just always, when I see both the Yankees and the Dodgers and their pitching stats are like top 5, and they have the experience and I just, especially the Dodgers. I will say the Yankees, last time they were.
I guess my thinking is this: on paper, the favorite matchup for the World Series should be the Yankees and the Dodgers. But when was the last time the on paper expected matchup was actually the World Series matchup?
Was it Braves Astros?
No.
No, not the Braves. No, you're right.
No. 2021, that should have been Astros Dodgers again.
You can't have Astros Dodgers. Oh yeah.
Yeah. 2021 should have been Astros Dodgers again. But the Braves, not the Dodgers, out in the NLCS.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Here's the thing. The other thing too, the Yankees are kind of healthy, and they haven't been to a World Series since 2009. It's like they're due. Like, that's the feeling that I get. Like, they're kind of due.
And their first one without George.
I they're just due. Aaron Judge is having a great year. Their pitching's on staff, and they're one of their biggest issues the last couple of years is they just haven't been healthy. And now they're healthy, and and
it's the Giancarlo Stanton effect. He's been healthy this year.
Yep, and don't get me wrong, it's not like they're far and away like running over everybody, but I just feel like we're due for an old school Yankees Dodgers World Series. We're due for that big market. I can definitely see where you're coming from on that. I just think with the Yankees, for them to make the run they need to make to get there, Garrett Cole needs to turn into Garrett Cole again. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I that's true. I do need to see that, but baseball needs a big. The thing is, baseball's kind of fallen off when it comes to viewership and everything else. They need a big market World Series where all the fringe people that don't watch all the time are going to tune into this because it's Yankees Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving baseball reasons right now. I'm giving more
marketing
Bill Simmons-y of opinions right now. Like besides the fact I do feel that way about the pitching and the stars and everything else. Like they have everything there and the Yankees are healthy. I just feel like we're due a big time World Series matchup. Like we haven't had the last big time World Series matchup we really had between two big powerhouses was back in 2018. And that was Boston
and the Dodgers. Yep, Boston and the Dodgers. Yep.
The last two major market, major old hat baseball teams, and I just think we're kind of due. And like I said, the Yankees haven't been in one since 2009. And what better to go against right now than the Yankees Dodgers?
And plus is that old rivalry rehashing too. Yeah.
I don't want it to be that. I don't like saying that. But when I'm going off of paper. So I'm not really saying I'm not really saying much. But I just kind of feel it coming. It's just a feeling that I get. I'm going with my gut. You definitely make good points, and I can definitely see why. It just might be time for it. It just might be time for it, whether we want it or not. It might just be time for it. I personally, I don't know. I just don't know. I just feel like this is gonna be another one of those years where somebody's gonna get hot where nobody's really expecting it. But yeah, it could be time for it.
Yeah. Hey man, look, that is why I said this was a segment that I was waiting for, because I love to hear y'all talk about baseball. I try to keep myself in tune so I can at least chime in a little bit from time to time. But hey man, look, this was really the big two segment. This is not baseball is not my forte. You want to go watch, if you want to hear about baseball, you got to go to these two guys right here, Flash, BRL. Those are my baseball guys. They can tell you anything you want to know, man. Go check out, while y'all at it, man, look, to the audience here, if you want to see something special, go check out that new Greg Maddox documentary, Chef's Kiss. Hell of a job. But
please do.
Please go see that. If you have any interest in baseball whatsoever or want to understand the game more, go listen to Greg Maddox talk about pitching.
Yeah.
Please do.
Especially, my bad.
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. But I'm going to just tell y'all this. If it's anything like I think it is, this is why we think Greg Maddox is the greatest right-handed pitcher in the history of the game.
In my opinion, he's the greatest pitcher
You
ever.
think it's the greatest? You think it's the greatest pitcher of all time? And I mean, and you think he's the greatest pitcher of all time? And when we did that all-time list, I took him as my starter. So I mean, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
And by the way, there's also a segment in there with him and Barry Bonds going over stuff.
Oh, you sent me that. Oh, I love that so much.
That's what I was talking about. That's the segment I was talking about.
I love that. I love that so much.
Anybody that thinks baseball is boring, I want you to go watch that documentary and really pay attention to that segment and watch. Well, one, the kind of giddiness on, like, to understand how good Bonds was. You can talk about steroids all day long, but to understand how good Bonds was and understand how good Maddox was, like, just go listen to. It's like listening to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning talk about playing quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's another segment that I was sent that I'll tell the people about. There's another segment where Greg Maddux was facing, I believe he was facing the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he was going up against Luis Gonzalez. And Bobby Cox sent Leo Mazzoni out there to try to get him out the game. Maddux said, no, I'm going to get him to pop out the third base, and we're going to get out the inning. And damn sure enough, if he didn't go do it 2 pitches later.
Yeah. Hey, man, some of the greatest pitchers of all time, man. Hey, that's why I was waiting on this segment. This is why I saved the best for last, man, because here y'all talk about baseball, something that I don't know a lot about is music to my ears, man. So, I love to see y'all shine in y'all own right during the baseball segment, man. That's the moment I'll be waiting for. I just sit back and let y'all talk, man. That's music to my ears, man. I'm just gonna be real honest with you.
And I want to throw this out there to anybody, like if you're watching the video or in the chat or whatever, I want to throw this out to y'all because I mean I've done it before on my TikToks. I'm gonna do it here. If y'all got any ideas as far as like stuff you want us to talk about, whether it's like stat lines you find or pictures you find, just stuff you want us to give our 2 cents on, send them like I got IG, send it to my IG, send it to my like Facebook. If you find me, put it on Facebook, send it to me on my TikTok. If there's anything y'all find y'all want me to make a video, any content about, and I'm sure Champ Flash feel the same way, send it to us. We will be more than happy to discuss anything. Hell, we'll tag you in the comments if we need to, just to show you some love and give you credit for finding it. I've always been a content creator about feedback and also giving back to my followers and the people that have supported me since day one. And I want to give it out, particularly with the baseball stuff, because I feel like there's a whole section of people who don't watch the sport enough and really wants to understand it. That's what we're here for. But any sport, if y'all got anything y'all wanted to talk about, hit us in the comments. Hit us. We'll do it. That's what we're here for. We love doing this, and we want to get feedback from y'all. So feel free.
Hey, man, look, like I said, that was the moment I was waiting for, man. I had to save that part for last, man. Like I said, y'all's knowledge on baseball, my humble opinion, second to none. I appreciate y'all's knowledge, man. Always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor in order to share the stage with you. But on that note, we ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell out of here. So the thing is, man, hey, for those who are just joining us or just watching or joining us for the first time, we're glad to have you, man. Reporting live from Columbus, Georgia, the greatest city in the world. And I just want to give the floor back to my co-host, two of the big three, BRF and Flash. Tell the people where to follow you at.
I'll kick it off. As always, BRF Sports is the TikTok handle. The link tree is in the bio. Check out my Twitter/X. Check out my IG. Check out my Facebook page. Hopefully, I want to do a little more college football this year. And as always, baseball is heating up, about to hit into the playoffs. WNBA is getting crazy. I'm going to try to do a little more WNBA content. And as always, I'm in the Wrestle Talk WWE season. We heating up, going like Bash Berlin, Bad Blood, ultimately going into Survivor Series. So I'm definitely going to be trying to put out content out there as well. Champ, I love you like a brother. It's always a pleasure getting on here doing this with you. Flash, You my brother from up north. Love you like a brother as well, man. This is what we do. Always enjoy this. Always have a blast doing this. A shout out to everybody that we done any podcast with, any content with, that we share knowledge with, any of our fellow podcasters, you name it, we do it. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about, because hey, that's what I live by, that's what I stand by, and we're gonna continue to do this. So shout out to everybody. We love y'all. Continue to support us, and we're gonna keep doing our thing for y'all.
Flash.
You can check me out at Flash 22 underscores between each letter. I just put out the first part of why it was the right decision for Brock Lesnar to go over on The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. I'm going to release these. I might wait till tomorrow to hit it more towards the algorithm for part 2. But to release part 2. So there's that I'm going to start on. And right after that, I'm going to go right into the NFL season. I'm going to start with a little bit on be dropping a video on why it's the right decision also for the New England Patriots to start Jacoby Brissett over Drake May. So there's more stuff to come on that. Plus, I'm going to be doing a little baseball content as well. So I kind of scolded myself a little bit on how I've been really busy this past month with just a bunch of other stuff. So I haven't been able to put out content like I've wanted to. So I kind of scolded myself to get back into going. So just look for that stuff. Again, kind of what BRF said as well. If there's something you want me to commentate on, and it could be even politics, if that's something you want me to commentate on as well, I'd be more than happy to share my opinion. And if I don't know, then I'm just going to say I don't know. So I'm not going to spout on something that I really don't know about. But that's not how I roll. But yeah, please check me out again. If you're here, please subscribe to Champ and to BRF. And just start tuning in, and also please like, comment, and subscribe every time you tune in. It only helps us. It helps the podcast, and that's God bless everybody, and I hope everybody's having a great week.
And on that note, man, the Big Three is signing off. Thank y'all for joining us, man. And guess what, man? I will end this on saying one thing and one thing only. Go Dogs. Beat Clemson.